Yo, hey everybody. Hi. How is everyone doing this? It's like late afternoon, early evening. I think it's like starting to be night for East Coasters. Let me turn down the music to something a little bit more, just chat in one moment. But hello, YouTube. Hi everyone. Let me just do a couple things. First off, I just want to let people who do know me from mainly Twitch, which is probably all of you, if not most of you. No, I'm not banned on Twitch. No, I'm not only live on here just because I am not banned on Twitch, first and foremost. You can check, it's true. I actually wait, let me grab, there we go, I had to grab that. There we go. But yeah, so first off, Scout, what the flying heck are you doing over here on YouTube? So, as it turns out, I'm actually going to be changing up a lot of my channel content going forward, at least over here on the YouTube side. I want to give y'all every facet of me. I'm like an ogre. I come in layers. Wait. Yeah, no, it still works. But yeah, like I come in layers. And the thing is, I almost exclusively do like a lot of, I want to say probably the best way to put it is I do like so much gaming content that I kind of forgot how to kind of do non-gaming content. Yo, sup Dart, hi Gamer. Also welcome on in everybody. Hello, hey James, hi Swordmaster, hi Luminor, welcome on in Lupa, hi Mally. Yo, sup Glenn, welcome on in everybody. But yeah, so I've been meaning to take the actual plunge on YouTube for a long time. Or Payfees? I don't know if I know that. I don't know if I know that one. But yeah, no, I've been meaning to take the YouTube plunge for a long time. Basically, if you look at all of my other live streams, it's all just dual streams from my Twitch. I'm actually going to make a separate channel going forward. I actually do have a VODs channel, but like outside of some like ancient, like primordial VODs, outside of some like primordial VODs, basically 99% of my stuff is just restreams of YouTube. And I'm done with that. I'm done with that. I want to start making my own stuff over here. I have plans on doing some music-related content, doing some VTuber-related content, doing some React-related content. I kind of want to round myself out as a creator a little bit. So I'm kind of testing this out, kind of testing the waters. I've had some amazing friends who have kind of given me some ideas on what to start with. Shift from 140k React Street to another. Hello, Miomer. Welcome on in, gamer. But yeah, okay, first off, who here in chat knows Tetra, also known as Tetra MH? Who here knows her? I feel like so many of my friends have like fully like dove into like the 40k deep end recently. Like my friend Neffy was painting figurines the other day. Tetra's been collecting like every 40k army under the sun. Legitimately, like, I feel like every single one of my friends separately over the last year has separately gotten into 40k, and like they slowly start kind of poking each other. It's like, hey, for the Emperor. And I'm like, yeah. I mean, okay, let me at least state this. I like my occasional, like, blood for the blood god, skull for the skull throne jokes, like the hole for the Emperor jokes. I like this, that, and other, but I legitimately, like, I am so lost when it comes to actively knowing anything about 40k that I basically decided, it's time to fix that. It is time to fix that. Yeah, what's up, Felipe? But Tetra's a Jakari. Look, we're allowed to be friends, right? I'm allowed to be friends with a Jakari fan, right? I'm not gonna lie, I don't really know that many factions because the only 40k game I've ever played is Space Marines 2. Which, hey, don't get me wrong. Space Marines 2, goated game. Can't wait to play the Tech Marine update, probably in like a week. I would love to play it with y'all, so definitely go check on out my Discord if you get a second. Yeah, in the meantime, though, I feel like I really should know a little bit more if I'm going to kind of get more into it. Basically, the extent of my knowledge is pretty much from those old Astartes like shorts that you used to see on YouTube that were all animated by that one guy. Because I was very, very much into like watching a lot of like Red versus Blue, a lot of like Halo, like fan animations and stuff like that. And I saw Astartes and I'm like, this is so much higher quality than 99% of everything that I'm seeing. So I'm like, what is this? And basically the extent of any other like 40k knowledge I have is from like the occasional Russian Badger joke or like just playing Space Marines 2. I know next to nothing. Jakar Funda. Don't they turn... Look, from what I know from my friend Tetra, don't they just turn people into like couches or something like that? The Siama Pedersen short film? Yes, that one. I thoroughly did enjoy what I watched, but I feel like it's actually time... Griff, where's my shot? God, I miss Red versus Blue. I miss Red versus Blue so much. Maybe I'll react to some Halo lore. And maybe some Marathon lore in the near future, because Marathon is out in like, what, 4 days? Something like that? I actually will be playing some Marathon tonight after, Sorry, I'm just pausing because ADHD's a bitch. So, the plan for today is to go over, I basically was talking to my friend Tetra and said, hey, apparently like all of my friends are into this other than me. I don't know where to start. And she said, girl, start here. And she handed me this video from Bricky. My extent of my Bricky knowledge is very, very limited, although I do know that her and my favorite VTuber of all time, Matara, are kind of like frenemies, and I love seeing every interaction that they have, so like, I know him through watching a lot of Matara. So it's gonna be interesting seeing him in his element. She used to play an Arthur. Yeah, so real bestie. But it's gonna be really weird seeing him in, I guess, more of his element, so I'm looking forward to it. Also, here's what's gonna be happening tonight. We're gonna be watching the first part of All the Factions Explained. Yeah, another VTuber for his collection. I feel like he's gonna collect them all eventually. But yeah, no, we're gonna be watching the Bricky's 40k Factions Re-Explained Part 1. Then afterwards, just as kind of a treat, I've actually kept myself almost completely off social media for the Pokemon Presents. I know it's like 25 minutes of just sheer just Pokemon goodness. I've seen next to nothing about it. I have seen like a frame of the starters. And I do know that it's called Wind and Waves. I've literally seen nothing else. I've seen nothing else. I am so excited to like see more on Pokemon. I've seen legitimately nothing else. So we're gonna be reacting to that right after. And then after that, I am going to go get some dinner, and come back full force over at my Twitch, which y'all should go check on out. We're gonna be playing some Resident Evil Requiem, as well as if I get too scared and I kind of like piss my pants, and if it gets too scary, like too serious for me, we're gonna play some Marathon after. So it's gonna be a long night of content. We're gonna be hitting multiple different. We're gonna be hitting everything from the 40k fandom to the Pokemon fandom to the RE fandom, all the way out to the Marathon fandom. So let's see if we can have some fun with it. But I will say, like, if I do know one thing about 40k, it's apparently like every other like Helldivers like short film uses, or not short film, like every other like Helldivers animation or like clip always uses this track. I think y'all know this one. I hear this everywhere on my feed. That being said, though, like, is Dark Tide a good game? Is Dark... Like, I've played Space Marines 2, but I've legitimately never played any other, like, 40k related game. The other one I did see, though, forever ago... Yeah, good old Dark Tide music, right? I will say, though, I am trying to convince my friend Tetra, and gamers, if you do also watch her, please try to convince her to play Space Hulk with me. The one where you play, like, it's the whole get the flamer, the heavy flamer meme. I want to play that with her. It looks kind of like old and jank, but like really fun. It kind of gives me the old, like a slightly more like grim dark take on like Republic Commando in a way, but you play as a walking fucking tank. Left 4 Dead. Ooh, I might be into that then. But yeah. Without further ado, though, gamers, I am gonna pull up the bed. Let's stop messing around with it and let's get on in. Get her to play Warhammer. I mean, she plays Warhammer. I just want to play Space Hulk with her. Plays the Dark Angels, Terminators, claiming Space Hulk, Gene Stealers. I did know about the Gene Stealer part. Like, the extent of my knowledge of that game is the Badger video from like 5 ever ago. But yeah, let's pull on up what we're gonna be watching for today. Where though? Okay. Got that and that. Where is my window capture? Me when I'm a professional VTuber and I don't know where my window capture is. There it is. There it is. I'm gonna throw myself over to the side. I will say I kind of want to do a more kind of low profile chat, but this is gonna work for now. By the way, everybody, I'm gonna pull a newbie VTuber newbie YouTuber thing, and if you like the stream, please feel free to drop a like. It honestly will let more people kind of find out about my stuff here, and I mean, I'm not gonna lie, if this gets 100 likes, I might react to a lot more 40K stuff. So there it is. Let's get started. I got the video right here. There we go. Hello, Bricky. Hi, Brickmeister. Let's get it. I can't look at the sidebars. I keep having to like hide myself away from the sidebar because every time I see the sidebar, it's like there's gonna be a Pokemon spoiler. 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 I will try to pause where I can when I. Let me also know if the volume's good on it. Let me pull up. I've done my part. Thank you. Thank you, kind citizen. But let's get this started. And everybody, this is a long video. This is literally like a feature-length film. So I definitely recommend, if I were you, grab your I'd grab yourself a drink because we're gonna be going a while. Also, I mean, if the
kind brightness of the far past, there was no war. Our galaxy was
how's
for a long
how's
time
the volume? Also, I'm gonna throw myself down a little bit more in the corner.
Quiet. The first known species to appear during this time are known only as the Old Ones.
We good? We good with the volume?
Traveled across the galaxy with ease and seeded life through the stars. Shortly thereafter,
good thing it just ate good
to arise.
But like we got on volume.
Here, evolving under the harshness of a devastatingly powerful star, the short-lived and
also it's quiet. Okay, good to know.
To find the secret to eternal life and to be freed from their terrible existence.
Is that better?
As they expand through
Should I make popcorn?
Stars,
oh, this is 2 hours. Absolutely.
And they plead to them to share the
Volume's
secrets
good.
of
Okay.
the universe.
I'm gonna get started. I did not want to interrupt our glorious teacher. So let's get back on in there. 1 second, just checking on that. Grabbing. Actually, wait. Do I have my water? Okay. Let's see. From left to right, I got my energy drink, got my Gatorade, got my water, and got my protein shake. Okay, we're good to go for a while. Perfecto. Let me make myself maybe a little bigger, but like. There we go. There we go. Yeah, looks like I'm sitting. Here's that. Okay, got everything. I don't want to travel. Yeah, this is gonna easily be like 2.5 hours. I will pause occasionally, so this might be closer to 3. We'll see. Okay, take it away, Bricky.
In the kind brightness of the far past, there was no war. Our galaxy was, for a long time, fairly empty and quiet. The first known species to appear during this time are known
primordial
only
soup.
as the Old Ones, cosmic entities that traveled across the galaxy with ease and seeded life
Also known
through
as
the
30-year-old
stars.
Vtubers.
Shortly thereafter, a new
Old
species
Ones.
began to arise. The Necron tier. Evolving under the harshness of a devastatingly powerful star, the short-lived and irradiated Necron tier try to find the secret to eternal life and to be freed from their terrible existence. As they expand through the stars, they find the Old Ones and they plead to them to share the secrets of the universe and grant.
Wait, I don't mean to pause so early, but like, does that mean the Necrons came first? Like, I mean, the Old Ones obviously first, but then after that, does that mean the Necrons were like the first to kind of come to being? Like, we're gonna definitely get into them each. I can't believe Tetra seeded out life. But does that mean that technically the Necrons came first, or
Them
I'm gonna let him explain.
And painful existence. The Old Ones respond with a
yes, okay,
lull
technically yes,
and a lamau, and with their immense power, they force them back to their homeworld. The Necron tier, filled with rage and hatred, make it their duty to get revenge on the Old Ones. A revenge that would come swiftly as a chance encounter with other gods gave them a solution. These other gods were known as the Catan, a race of highly powerful star-consuming entities. Do not fear, young mortals, for we, the Catan, will provide you with the immortality you seek. Come now, won't you shake a poor sinner's hand? Quoted from Mephetron, the Deceiver. The Necron tier accepted the Catan's offer of immortality, but believe it or not, this turned out to be a ruse. A trick. The Catan crafted gigantic furnaces and began the process of biotransference. The Necron tier willingly walked line by line into the furnace engines made by gods who devour stars and had their souls consumed instead. The short-lived, irradiated, and cancer-inflicted race of the Necron tier ceased to be, and the immortal, soulless Necrons remained. Now back.
So wait, did it only burn their souls? So they just like, yo, wait, we love the bonfire. And then they decided to just waltz right on in like a 3.5-foot kiddie pool. Yeah. Oh my God. Why would someone called the Deceiver just let you waltz on into a fire? So wait, they have no souls, but they technically live forever. Is that kind of the trade-off? Like you get to live forever, but also like if you die, it's over.
Backed by the immense power of the Catan, the Necrons rally against the Old Ones, and the bitter conflict in the stars at this time is known as the War in Heaven. Despite creating various races and entities to aid them in this battle, the Old Ones are overwhelmed and eradicated down to the last, due to the sheer power of the Catan fat off the souls of the Necron tier, and with an army of unthinkable robotic slaves at their behest. However, the Catan are greedy, spiteful gods, and when there was no foe worth killing, they turn on each other. The Necrons then put their sights towards the Catan and lay waste to them, securing their freedom. The once subservient Necrons now control their former masters. Worn out and weakened by these wars, the Necrons, under their leader Zarek, the Silent King, lie dormant, with a plan to eventually wake and reclaim control over the galaxy. Over millions of years, Empire.
I'm sorry. Okay, one thing that y'all gotta know about me if you haven't been around here, I'm a little bit of a RuneScape addict, so the second I hear Zarek, I'm like, oh, like the chambers. Anything RuneScape related is like my trigger word. It like wakes me up like a fucking sleeper agent in the middle of the night. Like, I'm not gonna lie, I heard Zarek, I'm like, oh, that's the thing I gotta do next month. So yeah, no skin, no souls, no maidens. What? They're not even robo maidens? No. Anyway, sorry. So basically, what I'm understanding. So the first faction is the Necron. They originally were beings that tried to follow the Old Ones. They got pissed at the Old Ones. They went to war by allying with another set of gods called the Catan. The Catan basically burnt their souls and turned them into living machines that were immortal and powerful. And then the second that they took out the Old Ones, they're like, yeah, so this is what we like to call a little switcheroo, and immediately attacked the Catan. His name's spelled Sarah. Oh, okay, so it's not like Xeric. Okay. I'm catching it so far.
Fall. The species created by the Old Ones have footholds over the galaxy, but on a pale blue
I'll try to pause every like
in
10
the thick
minutes
of
or so.
all
Or
this
15.
conflict, humanity begins to evolve. And for the most part, the basic path of humanity's evolution remains the same as it is now for almost 15,000 years. Right now, in the 21st century, this is canon.
Also had
You,
VTubers.
right now, Twitch streamer reacting to this video, you existed
smoothie.
at a point in the Warhammer universe. But with time, humanity's ambition.
I mean, I'm not human, but like, yo, that's awesome for y'all.
Unmatched, and the golden age of expansion begins. Humanity starts to branch out through the stars with powerful tools used for agriculture, mining, and expansion. Some branches of humanity would eventually settle far away from Earth itself, and around this time, the psychic ability of humans are greatly expanded, and what we begin to know as psychers appear. But despite all the progress, things would begin to
Mob
collapse.
Psycho 100.
The machines created to aid humanity would turn on them in M23, an event known as the Cybernetic Revolt, and trade would begin to collapse.
So we're still in
due
path
to
for
the
this,
immaterial
gotcha.
warp, aka actual hell, beginning to cause ruptures in space and time. These warp stones would separate humanity, and this would be what is known as the Age of Strife. The warp, a sea of souls, storing all thought, emotion, and the souls of those who have passed on, begin fluctuating into something terrible.
Is it
far on the horizon?
Wait. It says the warp kind of opened up. Wait, I think I missed something. So with the warp just happened? Or did we like figure out how to harness it? Did it just happen? M23 means between 22K and 23K. Oh, I'm like, so they don't mean 2023. Okay. The Men of Iron. So, like, there was originally humanity, and then we figured out the warp. Is this kind of like the equivalent of how in, like, Halo lore they discovered slip space? Or it seems more cosmic horror than that, because I said a sea of souls. I'm going to let him explain.
This was brewing. You see, the warp isn't just a random assortment of chaotic energy. It is fairly well organized, thanks to those living in the galaxy. The warp itself acts as an afterlife of sorts, and the actions of the innumerable amount of creatures who live in the galaxy have manifested a pantheon of organized entities known as the Forces of Chaos. At their helm are three major entities, Khorne, Nurgle, and Tzeentch. However, a fourth one, Slaanesh, was about to be born. The ancient Eldar were one of the first species created by the Old Ones, and due to their extreme and unbridled excess, the birthing of Slaanesh tore a hole in the galaxy and forever split the Eldar into those of the Craft world, who sought to bring their species back together, and those of the Drukhari, who wished to continue what caused the birth of Slaanesh in the first place.
Those are the couch makers, right? Yeah, look, it's me! Look, hey, gamers, like, I hate to say it, like, I am a demon, so, like, I don't know who I'm supposed to root for yet, but the warp sounds pretty cool, I'm not gonna lie. Okay, I have heard of Nurgle. That's, like, the big, like, grotesque dude who I've heard's pretty chill, but we'll figure out. And then the Drukhari, they're basically space elves? From what I've heard from Tetra, they're basically space elves, and they definitely like to dress like they went to Fantasy Hot Topic, I will say. Anyway, back to it.
The birthing of this fourth chaos god settled the warp storms of the Immaterium and ended the age of strife, but humanity was still fractured. So one man revealed himself and spearheaded an immense attempt to reunite all the fractured pieces of humanity.
Is that the boy?
That man was the Emperor of Mankind. After reclaiming the nearly destroyed Earth, the Emperor embarked on the unification wars to unite humanity under the banner of the Imperium of Man. However, due to the very long and devastating impact of the Age of Strife, humanity as we know it is not the same. To reconquer Earth, the Emperor would need more than mere men. Great beings, known as the Thunder Warriors, were recruited by the Emperor to reclaim the Earth
heaven and
with
hell,
ease.
little mixed with
But
mutagen.
these warriors are a blunt tool and had
Yeah, look at that square ass jaw.
overstayed their welcome. He would need something better. And that solution
Rose mocking all
would be
of us.
known as the Space Marines. Superhuman soldiers that will have the
God, they are
skill
so cool.
and cunning exponentially greater than the mortal man. These new warriors would be commanded by an elite group of his very own sons known as the Primarchs. Unfortunately, though, Daddy didn't
They were just
charge the
mocking on
baby
all of us.
monitor, and his 18 sons would be stolen by the forces of chaos and scattered across the galaxy. This would begin the Great Crusade, a monumental
Wait,
task
he
to
kidnapped
take
all
back the
18 of his
stars
kids?
in the name of humanity and reclaim the lost Primarch sons. However, he would need the fires of industry to make this happen. Looking to the distant cousins of Mars, the Emperor
still wins?
signed a
Yeah.
treaty with the technologically irradiated hellscape of the Red Planet and allowed the cult of the machine god, the Mechanicum, to supply his crusade. While Space Marines were the
Mechanicus is
tip of the
pretty chill.
spear, their numbers pale to the vast might of the Imperial Army and Navy, the Astra
20
Militara,
or
and their
18.
seemingly endless
Yeah, that's what I had a
numbers
question
make
on,
up
like
the bulk
20
of the
or
fighting
18.
force for humanity, supplied by the intelligence and prowess of various agents of the Imperium, such as rogue traders and assassins. Due to the lack of connectivity between the worlds, what a society had become over thousands of years became mysterious and varied. Tools once used for harvesting and agriculture now are being used as machines of war in the form of imperial knights. Some
Don't
of these
you love when
fractions
you-
of humanity would even
Don't you love when you turn your tractor into a nuclear payload? Is that what happened with the wait? Is that basically what happened with the knights? They said it was used for he said it was used for agriculture. The 2018 things. That sounds like something got redacted, but like
be changed
That's neither here nor
further,
there.
become unrecognizable to the average human, with differences in size, skin color, appendages,
you know next to nothing about.
cat ears, sometimes. Some would go so far to become their own galactic societies, like the miners of the Galactic Core and their immense supercomputers, forming the Leagues of Votan. After
look
an
very rock and
incredible
stone.
amount of effort and books, the lost sons of the
God, the
Emperor
books.
would be reunited, and the Imperium of Man would be
Killed us.
firmly established. This, however, would not last. Be it intentional or accidental, the Emperor would not reveal to his sons the true nature of the galaxy and the terrors of the warp. And this oversight would result in one of the most impactful wars in humanity's
So
history.
he was like a
The
helicopter
favorite
parent. He's like
son
saying
of
like,
the Emperor,
I love you, my
Horus,
children.
would
I will not
fall
tell you
to
about the
powers of
the
chaos
horrors out
and
there.
turn on his father. This betrayal, this backstabbing, this heresy,
Why, Bricky?
this Horus heresy
Oh no! Oh no! I've heard that there's like 80 books of that. I've heard the Horus Heresy just like doesn't end. I know nothing about it. All I know is it just goes on forever. Okay.
would
back.
result in a split in the Imperium with devastating consequences. Half of the Emperor's loyal sons would fall to chaos and become the Chaos
this with my
Space
people.
Marines,
Oh, Rock and
along with
Stone.
the forces of the Dark Mechanicum and the Chaos Knights. The conflict would result in the absolute obliteration of Horus and the physical death of the Emperor himself. The near-dead body of the Emperor would be placed on the Golden Throne to serve as a beacon of humanity and allow for the continued ability
me when I
to
strap into
travel the
VR.
stars, protected by his most loyal, the Adeptus Custodes. The Imperium would be vulnerable during this age of rebirth, and Terra would find itself
How
under
tall
siege by
are
one of the
they?
most formidable species in the galaxy, the Orcs. As time went on and memories of
funny
the
guys.
Emperor's vision began to fade, the Emperor would become less of a head of state and more of a religious figure. And the Imperium would change to reflect this. The leadership on a planet would be at the behest of the High Lords of Terra, and their actions would be courtesy of the incomparable power and authority of the Inquisition.
Wait. Classic Chickens, I just finished reading the Horus Heresy. Is it good? No, wait. Oh God. Wait, 64 books? Oh God. Like, okay, now here's the thing. Is it 64, like, short, like, 150 or less page books? Or are we talking, like, 64, like, Tolkien-length novels? We talking, like, long shit? My favorite boys, the orcs. Yeah. Look, all I know is they're funny and they kind of speak a little Aussie. We'll figure out about them in a little bit. Also, we're learning about the Inquisition, which I was not expecting earlier. No, they're long. Oh, no. I would at least hope it's like multiple authors. Old Chronicles. I mean, 300 pages isn't the worst, but like 64 books that are 3 to 4. Oh. Yeah, my ADHD Adelbrain could never. Anyway, the Inquisition.
Zealots of the Imperium would intensify and create a brand new era known as the Age of Apostasy. And this ecclesiarchal command of the Imperium would end up with one of the strongest fighting forces of Terra, the Adeptus Sororitas. Over time, this age would come to pass, and we would approach the 40th millennium of Warhammer 40,000. Which, you guessed it,
I see a lot of life and death in those eyes.
A primitive species, once found during a recon mission, would be able to evolve in relative secrecy for 6,000 years, becoming a highly advanced coalition of aliens known as the Tau Empire. And if the threats of the galaxy weren't bad enough, there are threats from outside the galaxy. As a monster has begun to wrap its tendrils around the Milky Way, the Tyranids, monsters that serve a psychic hive mind and present tactics previously unseen in the Milky Way. Be it a direct assault with their monstrous bug-like presence,
really
or through
like
the more
the
covert gene stealer cults, the presence of yet another threat in the galaxy is proving to be overwhelming to the Imperium. In the 41st millennium, there is no peace among the stars. At any point, your life can and will be threatened by the Xenos races uncountable, or by the arch enemy of chaos within, or by the decroded terror that is the Imperium itself. It is to live
the tower reminded me of Titanfall a little bit.
Bloody regime imaginable.
Like the aesthetic.
Forget the power of technology and science, or the safety of promise and understanding. For in the grim darkness of the far future, there is only
I thought that was the guards. He said the thing! God, I can't imagine remaking a video like this. Bricky, kudos to you.
A fantastic job once again, Mr. Kurz, the Night Haunter himself. Oh, didn't you love that, my faithful audience? Once again, we have another criminal over the course of 6 hours break every single bone in his body. And with that, once again, our glorious leader has brought the crime rate to 0%. Always brought to you here on Nostroman News. I'm your host, Bricky. Thank you once again for joining us.
Thank you,
Our top
Bricky.
stories for tonight. The weather forecast appears to be rainy with extra dark, so make sure you pack those extra batteries for your lamp packs. And of course, let's not forget the fantastic gang violence problem we're currently having. Oh, I'm sorry. What's that? Oh, right. It's gone. It's looking to be a chilly one tonight as well, so make sure your skin capes are nice and tight.
Are what now?
Wait, hold on, one moment.
I'm gonna have to double check to see if I still have my skin cape in season.
Adamantium reserves have tripled? Wait, I'm sorry. Self-harm rates have gone down to 0%.
We love self-care.
The Night Haunter smiled?
Curse, what did the Joker link Batman stealth and focus on slaughtered criminals? Oh, so like Red Hood then.
It is the Strawman News' great privilege to bring some color back in your life with the brand new
Likes First Edition
3-part
of the Night Lords,
Gamer
Cursey
Subs
Sick Freak.
drop exclusively on this here news network.
We love the show. We love it. We honestly though, honestly plus two plus 2 ad break. I will say though, I have been informed to probably skip these. Bricky, love you. Love your drink. I'm gonna skip forward a little bit. There we go.
Warhammer 40k faction explained. A passion project of
We're
mine
in it.
for a
Gamers,
universe
we're in
that I
it.
enjoyed so much. Its main purpose was to be a drawbridge, the separation between the layman who had only ever seen the big armored blue man situated neatly next to a Wetzel's Pretzels,
blueberries, yeah,
and then
I've
the
seen them
hardcore
everywhere.
Warhammer lore nerd. That
That's
was
also
just
fair.
too wide, and there was nothing bridging these two together. Since 2020, Warhammer has exploded in popularity thanks to COVID,
It's exploded
quality game updates, and a few
everywhere.
excellent video games, and a couple mini-series. The sheer volume of people who have told
Everyone
me
who was
they have
talking about
purchased
Gundam like
miniatures
10
due
years
to
ago
that
is now
video
talking about
alone
Warhammer
makes
now.
me feel as if Games Workshop owes me commission. However,
They probably
that
do.
video is incomplete. I was not a casual fan, but I was also not a hardcore lore junkie. In the 5 years
Oh,
since
he
that
got
video
the
was
lore
released,
drop.
multiple channels have sprouted up, and the drawbridge between casual to the obsessed has never been wider or easier to traverse. Even I, myself, have been a part of Adeptus Ridiculous, a podcast teaching lore in a much simpler and condensed form. Needless to say, I've learned a lot. Warhammer
Hey,
is
let's really the most
so
edgy
much
fashion
more
members, nothing
than
massive
just
sadists.
Spaceman shoots a big
Oh.
gun. It has also grown substantially from its origins.
mean, I could
being
see them
a
wanting to inflict pain on
Warhammer
the other,
fantasy spin-off just in space. Now,
the other aliens.
it is a black library filled with immensely deep characters, difficult themes, and even some tear-jerking stories. It is a backdrop for a million stories over a million worlds, and I
think
did
that's
not
Rogue
see
Trader?
its true depth in 2020. But now, I'd like to share what I've learned. We just had a
Bro
brief
did some
summary
learning,
of
now
the
wants to
world
share it.
and each faction that takes place during it. And we did that because to truly understand each faction, we must understand what makes them the way they are. And to do so, we need to begin in chronological order, discussing their origins, their culture, their powers, and of course, what makes them oh so grimdark. So let's begin with the
We
group
love
that
grimdark.
started
We love
all and
grimdark.
sing praise.
Nobody's got
the
sanctified.
Infinite Empire.
The Necrons. Okay. So we started with
As
them.
mentioned before, the Necron tier were the original form of the
Recruiter's
Necrons.
good. I've heard it's
an
good.
alien race far away from us that lived short, painful lives due to the irradiation of their star. Normally, this would manifest as like a sort of cancer, a space cancer of sorts. The Necrons are
Okay, so basically the Necrons are the equivalent of living very, very close to like an AI, like any of those like AI facilities where apparently it's just like causing people just physical harm just to live nearby. Look, that's what it seems like the Necrons live near, but it's like radioactive, so they live in Fallout.
very much inspired by the ancient Egyptian aesthetic, but unlike
I
the
can see
windswept dunes commonly associated with it, the irradiated hellscape the Necrons here endured was
It's like Fallout meets
far
Tron.
from picturesque. This also translates into their hierarchy. They are a race of nobles and peasants. Most
Fallout
of the
meets
peasants
Tron
would
meets
often live
Bionicle,
for their
right?
very short amount of time, only a couple of decades, while the nobles tended to have better care and would live a little bit longer, but still
They do
far
kinda look
less
like
than the
Bionicle a
average
little bit.
lifespan of a human, even today in the 21st century. The leader of the Necrons was Zarek, the Silent King. He was the one who took the deal with the Catan and the Deceiver. Of course, he wasn't aware of the fact that they
That
were
just makes me
known
think
as
that the
the
Arfon will
Deceiver
just not
at
talk.
the
It's like,
time.
he's so
But the
cool.
whole
Motherfuckers
species
doesn't have
was
to say anything
blinded
to
by
just win.
hate after being debased by
Who's
the
Bionicle's
old
height,
ones
too?
on their quest to cure their illness. The sheer pain that underwent the
There's your
Necron
bitch.
race
Barrel for feet-
can't be
for furniture needs to
understated,
basically-
as their fear was manic. The Catan are, of course, gods that eat stars, and when the leader of your species tells you to march into the gigantic green furnaces to ascend to immortality, you march. The scenes from these
Look, if you live like
long
20, 30
lines
years,
of both
I
the
could see
peasantry
it.
and nobles.
It's like I might have died in a few years, or I get to live 5 ever.
In a frantic act to save their own lives. Many of them already inflicted in the late stages of this space cancer. Some of them crawling into the biotransference furnaces, trying to outrace death itself. Without realizing death was the one who made these to begin with. What came out the other side was a soulless husk. And I say that literally. A soul is not an abstract concept like it is in our world. And
no, it's an actual thing, like
version of oneself discussed and debated in religion and philosophy. No, in Warhammer, a soul is a real, tangible item of oneself.
Like soul gems and Elder Scrolls.
Basically, were just like to every single person who went in their furnaces. If you were a
okay, but what do they taste like? What do they taste like? Please at least tell me it tastes as good as like the Taco Bell chicken tendies or the Taco Bell chicken nuggies. Those, I'm not gonna lie, if I was a Catan and they tasted like that, I'd have a hankering for some souls. Anyway,
you came out a Necron warrior.
Well, under that soldier thought, will do.
Have ceased to be. You have no mind, you have no soul, and your body, as you know it, is made of an extremely advanced mass of reknitting living metal known as necrodermis. You cannot think for yourself, for you do not have a brain to think with. All you do now is await
so not much has changed then.
From your overlords, which are the nobles who came out of the furnaces with their minds intact, not their souls. Mind you, but their minds are very much intact. These nobles now have command protocols, and they are able to command
some of them
all
are still
of
smart.
Their peasantry and do with them whatever they wish. Zarek, the Silent King, is the most advanced of all the Necrons, a perfect metallic version of himself with incredible power and intelligence.
Got out
His
relatively unscathed.
Allowed him to lead the undead and the unthinking armies of the Necrons to battle against the Catan when they were at their weakest due to their incessant infighting and then win back their freedom. But gods cannot die. So in reality, what occurred is the Catan were shattered into thousands of pieces, and each shard of their god was trapped in a stasis vault and mind controlled to do the bidding of the Necrons they once enslaved. The biggest challenge they face now
that might be worse than death.
Upstarts of the galaxy. The Eldar and the Orcs were quite prominent, and as you can imagine, a galactic war really takes its toll on the joints, or I guess the servos. It was in their best interest to wait out the galactic rise of the other races and come back at a more opportune time. So they went into stasis
I didn't even know about
via these massive tomb complexes hidden beneath various worlds, biding their time until it was once again their opportunity to rule the galaxy. Zarek, the Silent King, as penance for his failure to his people, exiled himself into the darkness between stars for the next 60 million years, with his perfect memory, a constant reminder of the doom he inflicted upon his people. Flash forward to the modern day, and the Necrons are reawakening. But
watch these people's souls
it isn't working as well as it could be. Whether the tomb world is reawakened naturally or by some imperial moron stepping on a green glowing rock, the Necrons have come back to reclaim a galaxy they consider rightly theirs. But 60 million years of hypersleep have taken their toll. Many Necron dynasties awake with systems.
Okay, I'm gonna pause real quick. So I will say, I can see their thought process of basically thinking like the galaxy is ours because we subjugated the gods of it. I can see that thought process saying like, we literally subjugated the gods of this reality. Thus, we're the rightful usurpers, I would say. So like, I can see it, but like, plus with how bitter that they got at the initial gods, I could kind of see them thinking anyone who would want to take the galaxy for themselves as being a direct enemy. I can see it. I can see it.
unrestored, and huge swaths of their population's minds completely lost. Necron nobles wake with various mental faculties compromised,
technically
sometimes
too,
exhibiting traits similar to excessive paranoia, schizophrenia, or even dementia.
Yeah,
one notable Necron, Nemesaur Zandrek, believes that he is still back on his home planet fighting off separatists and interlopers. See, Oberyn, the separatists come, attempting to outflank me as they did at the 4th Battle of Vindach. How they calculate that daubing themselves green and roaring like savages will produce a different outcome, I cannot fathom. But it is of no account. Ready, my legions. Another glorious victory shall soon be
They also
ours.
did
Other individuals.
that is the equivalent of them basically like leaving their homes for a little bit and then finding them occupied. So I could see that also starting wars. The stars were young when our empire ascended, and when the last of them died, we alone will remain. Well, I guess that. Yeah, with immortality, I could see that. Also, wait, what would happen to the Shards of the Gods if the Necron were fully defeated? Would they slowly reform and then all of a sudden there's now just another faction? Or... Well, I mean, they're probably not going to be fully taken out, so that's probably something that we don't have to worry about.
Imhotep the Stormlord seek to usurp the newly returned Silent King for rightful ruler over the Necron race, believing his time has come to an end, while scientists and archaeologists like Trazen the Infinite and Orikin the Diviner spend thousands of years bickering over artifacts and petty squabbles. Truly, the Necrons are a faction of unthinkable, unimaginable power, held back entirely by their own hubris and 60 million years of stasis. It is a species that does not know of time, only of the ravages brought by it. A pharaoh of a dynasty may just be as frightened to awake completely mad as they are to be assassinated while they sleep. Thousands of years
Those two guys
in an instant. There is a play, like an opera play,
Puppet
a
bells.
retelling of the war in heaven in the Necron culture that takes 40 years to witness. Because why leave? You have no need to eat or vacate your bowels. You are immortal, but you are soulless. Despite the Necrons' incredible technology, their mastery over time, reality itself, despite all of this, they still are missing a soul. And therein lies the biggest struggle. Most Necrons look to conquest the galaxy, kill the interlopers like the humans, Eldar, and orcs that scrape at a fraction of their power. But the end goal for many, including Zarek himself, is to return the souls to their bodies.
So they just want to be a real boy. Okay. So basically, 40-year-long plays with no breaks. Let's do it. Yeah. Let's see. The Deceiver told them we'll give them immortal bodies and then we can take down the old ones together. Left out some things. So basically, they just kind of want... I mean, I don't think humanity's the right word. They kind of just want their being back. Yeah, they're the most advanced faction, but they also seem to be the most... They're missing what makes them them, in a way. So that they've been just left with just being all thinking, no feeling. Yeah, that would kind of wear away at you as a faction. That would make you very analytically dangerous, though, I would say.
Undo the horrible fate he cast upon them. This is not the interest of all. Many simply wish to rule their dynasty with an iron fist and kill all they consider unworthy. But to many others, it is to undo the decision that doomed them all. Before they can do that, there is a pest that needs exterminating. That is the fundamental understanding of the Necrons. They are so hyper advanced that their science borders on magic. They play with the fundamental aspects of reality and time. Their mastery of the physical galaxy is the strongest in the universe. Their weapons reduce people to the barest molecules, and they have devices capable of causing stars to supernova. They are unfathomably difficult to kill, as if you do fell one of their number, the living metal re-knits itself, and the reanimation protocols allow it to come back alive once again. They're masters of teleportation and often killing.
Okay, how the hell do you win against that, though?
Consciousness translocated back to their tomb world to await reassembly. Normally, they utilize large phalanxes of warriors and honorary combats, but some of them have fallen to various mind viruses. The destroyer cults are hell-bent on killing
love when you accidentally download a brain trojan
that lives with an overwhelming force. And then there's the flayed ones. Necrons cursed with "I have no mouth and I must scream," a
Hey,
panic
someone in chat
attack
mentioned that
virus,
earlier.
as the last laugh of Landogo, the
They're
Flare
slow.
Catan. Slowly losing their minds, they strip apart their foes and adorn their bodies with the skin of their enemies.
Okay, that's metal. They're slow as fuck. Okay, I will say, if you have nothing but time, I guess that doesn't really put you in a hurry to conquer. You're spread out disorganized. Oh, okay. Shoot them a lot. Oh, they're degrading. Okay, so like it's kind of like doing multiple backups of the same thing. The backup is prone to get worse each time. It's kind of like when you take a JPEG and then you copy it, and then you copy it, and then you copy it, and then you copy it and copy it and copy it, and then all of a sudden it's just like it's just like 16 pixels on a screen, and it just looks absolutely atrocious. You can't even tell what the original image is. Played ones are true horror. Yeah, I'm seeing that they're wearing a sick-ass hoodie made of the epidermis of some horror species out there. Sucks to suck.
Trying to better return to their old feelings of flesh and blood. The Necrons are a degraded version of their mighty empire, and still one of the biggest threats in the galaxy.
You have nothing but time that
the
causes a lot of
only thing keeping
forecasting.
them at bay currently is
That
their
would be me.
awakening sickness and their infighting with no care to the timeline. But they are coming.
Okay, so it was
And
right.
slowly, they plan to rid this galaxy of the vermin that inhabit it. My people shackled the stars.
They're a force of nature,
and broke
but, like,
mortality when the species
definitely outrun 'em.
sprang from had barely left the slime pools it spawned in. Our
more
wars
deep-fried real.
burned reality, and the dominion of our kings is without limit. The ground you tread on is not yours. It is ours. The war in heaven was a catastrophic time for the galaxy, and as stated in the above quote, burned reality. Of course, souls
when reality
exist
gets
in
burned.
Warhammer, and
They're
in
the
the
immortal
case
steel!
of the Necron tier, they were
I think that is the best description I've seen in the entirety of chat by blowing up the Tomb World. Oh, but I'm guessing it's one of those things where they probably pull like Halo Cold Protocol, where they just like they don't give you any information on the homeworld, or it's like data wipes, things like that. Or I would assume it would be one of those things where it's like, even if you know where it is, you ain't getting through. They do live in fighting. Oh, that makes it worse too. I mean, that would just slow themselves down. Them being the immortal snail, though, I think that is probably the best explanation based off of everything I've listened to for the last 20 minutes. They're inevitable. But you can also kind of just like walk down the hallway and you buy yourself a lot of time. And then occasionally you can juke the snail and then it has to like retread a little bit. So like, I can see that.
consumed by
Okay,
the
back to
star
Bricky.
gods. This begs the question, however, if you were to pass on, expire, as one might put it, where would your soul go? The answer to this is the warp. In Warhammer, a soul is real. And so is hell. The afterlife, the Empyrean, the Sea of Souls, the Immaterium. All of these names refer to the dimension parallel to our own known as the warp. Now, the warp is not like our reality. It does not follow the
I would
classic
assume
normalcy of time
Baby
and
Demon would be
space.
from the
It is
warp.
defined as the Sea of Souls, and it acts like
Damn
this in a
fleshlings,
more
yeah.
literal way than you can realize. To imagine the warp is to imagine the sea itself. Hell is real, and you can surf on it. It has a current and can become more
Yo, we love
dangerous
surfing in
depending
hell.
on where you go and how bad the weather is. As the Immaterium is a reflection of our reality and of our souls, all thoughts, all emotions, all feeling that
Cat
goes
love me, Dean.
with a soul is passed on into the warp. If an entire planet decides it's going to engage in a blood-fueled rampage of murder and gore, then the warp around that planet will be affected in a similar manner. It's not something
So
that you can see. It is a
So your active malice can affect the surrounding warp. Okay.
parallel, not perpendicular
Nice, did you do it?
dimension.
Okay.
But it is changing. To expose oneself to the warp for any period of time invites certain death outside of the most
Probably fries
iron-willed
your
of
brain.
individuals, and to stare into it will drive one mad. Much like the open seas, things dwell in the warp. Whether these beings were always there and were just emboldened by the carnage of
And
the
it does-
galaxy, we can only speculate at. At a time, you could say it was more calm. but a certain faction's galactic war in heaven didn't do it any favors. Now the warp is turbulent, and its realms belong to a pantheon of gods known simply as
Chaos! Okay,
The forces of chaos are beings that serve.
Okay, hear me out. As much as I love my Blueberry Boys and my all I know is there's also like the faction of thieves and a bunch of stuff like that. As much as I love them, I am a demon. So I have to lock in for this.
Directly under their patron deity. There are 4 current gods of chaos at the moment.
Okay,
Khorne,
4.
Tzeentch, Nurgle, and Slaanesh. Each of them represent various facets of and emotions of sentient species and play a great game against one another for total control over their realms. Interestingly enough, while their disciples have physical forms we can understand, the chaos gods do not have a physical visual that you can perceive in reality. So while there are tons of fantastic fan art, we do not know what they truly look like.
It's very much
are conveniently color-coded. Khorne is the god of blood and murder, carnage and slaughter. He is the one who is most powered by the wholesale killing of any living thing. For Khorne cares not from where the blood flows. With a sacred number of 8, he is the lord of all things involving killing and blood and gore. The champions are extremely strong as well.
He's like the Dark Lord from Doom Eternal.
Extremely large weapons. A true analog to Khorne would be his greater demon, the Bloodthirster, an enormous muscle-bound flying devil with an axe so large it's
blood for the blood god. Okay, so Khorne's the blood god.
Move into battle with armor of brass adorned by the skulls of their foes and pools of freshly spilt blood. This may appear to be quite frightening, of course, demonic, one might say, but in the world of chaos, all emotions feed one of these gods in one way or another. If you were to define Khorne with single words, you would use blood, carnage, murder, skulls, but you'd be missing out on important ones like strength.
So Khorne is basically the Doomslayer for the demon team, right? It's like I am purely fueled by anger, destruction, blood, ravaging, like anything that causes pain to others. That is my shit. That is what I am. That is my thing. That is what I'm into. No one else is into this thing as much as I'm into this thing, right? Yeah? Okay. So he's metal as fuck then.
Honor, prowess, courage, and
he's John
Khorne is not just about the wholesale slaughter of people. He is about the honor.
There's 1v1 me right now. Oh wait, Khorne's kind of cool though. Wait,
the true strength there is in besting someone in physical strength and skill. Of course, a murderer would be someone who would feed Khorne, but a soldier could feed Khorne. A martial artist or professional fighter could feed Khorne.
John Wick.
A warrior, good or bad, feeds Khorne. A diplomat does not. A premier soldier does. A GoFundMe does not. This is what leads many mortals down the path of Khorne, for he will bless those that bring him enough skulls. And in a world this destructive, there are many ways to reap a high tally for him. Prepare the dread claws and unchain the mad ones.
Blood and death. I feel like with how many people that die in 40k,
for the world below has refused to surrender. Let us descend upon them with fury and rage, giving no quarter and sparing only those warriors who fight well enough to earn a place amongst us. As to the rest, their lives and possessions are ours, but their skulls are for Khorne. Normally.
Okay, that's kind of metal though. That's kind of really metal. He doesn't like torture, though, from his POV. Well, because torture, I mean, yes, it can produce blood, but it's not producing violence or war. He doesn't like torture from his POV. If you're going to kill someone, either like shit, I'm going to get off the skull throne. Okay. Yeah, torture feels like that would be something more like, I would assume probably one of the other 3 gods would have that, right? He wants it to be active violence. Like, he wants it to be active conflict. There are good aspects. I also feel like... Yeah, no, you know what? I'll just let him keep going.
If I ever want to explain Khorne, I just kind of show him this clip.
Good aspects, yeah.
I'd never stab you in the back, Shepard. Warriors like you and me, straight to the face.
Moving on,
I have a feeling he'd like Kratos a
the god
lot.
of trickery and mischief,
Which
the
hits us 'cause I was
changer
trying
of
to
ways,
spell.
the great
Oh, wait, that's
conspirator
kinda
and the
sick, though.
architect of fate. With a sacred number of 9, Tzeentch is truly the god of change in all of its forms. But there is an obvious undercurrent of mischief
That's kinda
and
sick,
cunning.
though.
Tzeentch is such a liar that his pants have gone thermonuclear.
Going for body shots. Oh god, this guy! Electro
His favorite
Boom, isn't it?
pastime is asking
love that guy.
questions that have no answers while simultaneously making up answers on the spot to a question he didn't ask.
He's a premium bullshitter. Okay.
Dreams that you had
You can do it. You can do it. You got it.
You want.
You're almost there.
You could do so. You
I believe in you.
You want him to
almost-
do
come on.
so much.
Come
you
on.
could do anything.
He is such a conniving little bastard that every emotion of lying, of scheming,
He's-
of trickery
he's a professional
is a direct
gaslighter.
way
Okay.
to help feed him. An unfaithful partner, a politician, a spy. It's
like Loki plus, like,
All these people
gaslighting.
feed Tzeentch in one way or another, and it doesn't matter if the intentions are good. Acceptance
That
does
Rat
not
Man,
feed
I kinda
Tzeentch.
love that, though.
Change does.
Gaslighting,
Tzeentch doesn't
gatekeeping,
care
girl bossing, I
about
love
your
that.
facts. He only wants opinions. Because he represents change, he also represents hope, though. Schemes are not always bad, and even the hope to make a better tomorrow is the change he seeks. Because he is the architect of fate and the mastery of sorcery, his presence is purely unknowable. Every depiction of a Tzeentchian demon contains more eyes than are necessary and more mouths than I know what to do with.
Oh, they can
It
take
is
a
a
nice peek at
biblically
ya.
accurate angel if the angel gaslit you into thinking birds are government drones. But are they? The creatures at his disposal
Ricky.
adorn themselves with the knowledge of sorceries and the unknown, all to
Innovator.
provide a mind-crushing experience. Fighting demons from outside of our reality is difficult enough, but fighting demons from unreality, purposely attempting to trick you, is a whole new thing entirely. And that is before
I
we
love
even
the
get
double
started
tongues.
on the gigantic bird of sorcery you're going to need to face. Do not ask which creature screams in the night. Do not question who waits for you in the shadow. It is my cry that wakes you in the night, and my body that crouches in the shadow. I am Tzeentch, and you are the puppet that dances to my tune.
Okay, but like, for real though, how many of y'all been woken up in the morning really, really early by fucking birds? Tzeentch is that bird. From what I am seeing, Tzeentch is that bird that's keeping you up at 5 a.m. It's like, the sun's not up, why are you? Anyway.
Third of the Chaos Gods is the one of acceptance of rot and pestilence, the grandfather
This is the gross one that
himself,
people really, really like.
Papa Nurgle. Nurgle is
there
the
he is.
exact opposite of Tzeentch. Where Tzeentch believes in
Birds arguing
change and
real.
hope for a
The
future,
bird arguing
Nurgle
meme.
believes in stagnation and the end of everything. At one point or another, we will all decay.
Freaking bird that I hate.
We will all rot, and we will all end. And with a sacred number of 7,
We'll all
every
end.
single thing, pestilence, boil, and everything in between,
Like a fridge that
comes
you don't clean
under
out.
the great shadow and girth of Nurgle himself. For Nurgle, the plight of mortals is his fear and wine. And no matter how
some
solid
titties,
life
okay.
might be, everything will decay in the end. In the creation of life, there must be an end.
So like the god
to
of
that
pestilence.
life. And nobody has more creations to end lives than Grandfather Nurgle himself. And
Wait, I just realized, are they basically like the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse, but like reimagined as chaos gods? Because we have pestilence, we have war, I guess not, because like we don't have one of death.
every boil, every blemish, every pus-filled wound and disease, every rot, and every plague
pimple
is
that
kept
just
and concocted
decides
by
to
Nurgle.
ignore my
This
skincare routine.
humorously keeps Nurgle as a jovial god. He is full of life and laughter, and by creating as many diseases as he possibly can, he shares that
Bro was playing
joy
Plague Inc.
with mortals.
on easy mode.
I mean, his envoy is the great unclean one, and look at how happy he is. And there's a lot,
so happy about it.
lot of him to love. A fear of death in general is feeding Nurgle. All disease makes him stronger, but to pray for salvation for a wounded loved one is to feed Nurgle. The timeless and inevitable fear that one day you will rot and decay is what gives him strength.
So the fear of death.
The Peloton won't feed Nurgle.
And
Licking
trying
the
to avoid
doorknob on a
death
public
still
bathroom
feeds him.
Certainly does. However, should you embrace your
It's like 3 of the
grandfather's
Death
gifts,
Pestilence
you may
famine. Yeah.
find an end to your pain. Maybe. All mortal followers of the Chaos Gods found themselves there in one way or another, either through the direct worship or the slow corrupting of their souls. But those that take Nurgle's gifts and embrace the decay of their bodies may end up being chosen among his few as a faithful servant. In doing so,
He seems too happy
you will
to be liked by the
free of
others.
the pain caused by Nurgle's ailments, and you may even find yourself just as
Servant's
jovial and
the
happy
cycle life
as
and death.
he is.
Okay.
Maybe. His enemies shall wither
Nurgle's what
and
happens
die.
when I don't do my
His
skincare routine.
allies shall wither and die. The universe and all within it shall wither and die. And when the great corruption has settled over the land and permeated the very foundations of reality itself,
That's why
then
Chaos doesn't
shall
consume
the
the galaxy.
Lord of all
Oh,
rise
'cause he would
from
feed
the rot
Nurgle.
and ruin, spread his arms wide to reclaim all of his dutiful children. Those were the 3 major Chaos Gods for a very long time.
It would feed Nurgle too much.
Emboldened
Okay.
by war and death on a galactic scale. Ever present, but now fact on the suffering of a galaxy. One race, for a while, was able to elude the pull of chaos. An advanced race
the Necrons?
of psychically attuned aliens whose master over the physical world was
No.
so strong that chaos could not glean from them the morsels of power they once had. Or so they couldn't. Not for a long while. 60 million years ago, in an attempt to
I love
combat
this
the
old art.
Necrons and Catan, the old
Okay. I hate to say it. Why does this old art right here very much give me like 90s Mega Man box art? Well, why does this give me like 90s Mega Man like Super Nintendo box art? Elf time. Oh god. Ildari, my beloved. Like, you see what I mean, right? Anyway, getting back into it. Sorry,
made a new species. One with innate power in the warp and the ability to harness it with a
Psychers gave way to
mastery that was
Eldari?
unseen by so many others. A mastery so powerful, the Necrons retreated to sleep in order to
was
wait it
inspired by
out.
it, maybe.
It was no longer a galaxy to be ruled by them, but instead
nice, okay.
begin the age of the
Eldar. Okay. Wait.
Eldar.
So I think I missed it. Did the Eldar come from humanity? Like when they become more psychically linked? Or no, they were just separate, just like across the galaxy. They're just a separate faction. Okay.
Are a race of pointed-eared humanoids that are all psychically attuned to the warp. If we're being meta here, these are space elves, and these elves ruled the galaxy in the time the
space
Necrons
elves.
went to sleep and humanity began to rise. The Eldar's empire was galaxy-wide and lasted for longer than any
So,
other
like, the
galactic
precursors
power
almost.
that we know of. Their understanding of all things was exceptional. With every single one of them
they
being
predate-
psychers,
Okay, they
had
look
the
kinda sick,
ability
though.
to master the warp and use it to their advantage. See,
9 years.
being a psyker
Oh.
is basically like being a wizard, or I guess in this case it's more of a sorcerer, since you are
Like a
born
sorcerer Jedi.
with the gifts as opposed to learning them. In order to utilize your psychic
So it is like
abilities,
Jedis.
however, you must then reach into the other dimension, into the warp, into hell for that power. So if you were to say, cast fireball, your mind would reach into the warp, gather the strength to rewrite reality, to then cast fireball. Now, you might think to yourself, doesn't that mean
I don't care how
if
much
you're
warp I
opening
need,
up
I
a
cast
power to the
fireball.
warp, you may create a lot of risk to yourself because of all the horrible things we just talked about in the warp?
Yeah, but Slaanesh is
Yes. However, in Warhammer 40k,
Eldar,
willpower
cool.
is a real,
I'm starting to see a cooler
tangible
Jedi.
thing
Ooh.
in the sense that in its own right, it can be weaponized.
So like Jedis, but not pussies. Okay. So they're like the Jedi, but if the Jedi weren't pussies, right? That's kind of what I'm getting.
raised. Being strong of will means being strong of soul, and being strong of soul
pokes his hand out
means
to
you
smack
can
you, he
resist
goes,
the
"Wait, oh,
pull
God."
of the warp that much more. A more inexperienced psyker opens up a hole into the
is
warp
this
that
dark
is
side?
large, and that hole widens to get more power, allowing evil things to get in. A powerful psyker is able to open a very small hole, but with immense force to get the same amount of power with less risk. The Eldar are master psychers. Every single one of them can call upon the warp, and over
That was a
millions
sick
of
ass armor.
years,
Their armor
they
is
have
really
perfected
sick.
it so much so that they can weave structures out of it. In some species in the galaxy, they utilize the warp itself for interstellar travel. The Eldar ain't having any of that noise. How about we utilize a fancy alternative mode of travel that is substantially safer than the old ones created called the webway? What about dying? Miss me with that. We no longer age. And if we do, we can just be reborn like that. Food, water, materials, we make things out of distilled warp essence itself.
We don't need food, we are
sing
snatched.
unreality into cathedrals to dine in. What truly could the Eldari Empire possibly fear?
Seems like they gotta have everything. Oh, themselves. Oh no.
The Eldari Empire's biggest fear was themselves.
So the old ones,
society
beat the Necrons?
so perfect they wanted for naught, and this led them down dark and dangerous paths. When
You
the
get
base
bored and then you get
functions of
scary.
Society are no longer a problem
Okay.
for you. You tend to experiment. Perhaps the medium rare
no.
steak on your plate would be better if it was elf meat. Hey, I'm not saying we should make cannibalism legal, but like,
Hottest post scared.
what's the issue with a little taste? Violent sports is one thing, but how come we don't do sports to the death?
So they got bored and they got
I'm
dangerous.
just
That makes
saying,
sense.
Like, if both participants are willing and clear about it, like what really is the problem there, you know? Art is in the eye of the viewer, and what is considered art is
They are the
completely
end
up to
game
the
of
concept
post-scarcity,
one's own
okay.
interest. A canvas adorned with the blood of a man wronged is truly the visual poetry
I like to call this one
that our
Golden
society
Branch.
needs. Hedonism. With a slow and consistent hedonism, the Eldar slid backwards into debauchery of the sort I cannot discuss on this YouTube video. Murder on
so they're
stage,
freaks, I get ya.
delicacies, and drugs distilled from one another.
go into
the trade
themselves
of
to-
slaves
Okay, my people,
and
then.
concubines, and much worse. The Eldar physiology has their emotions
Okay,
heightened, and they
Joker.
can feel more than a human does. So while it can provide lows of
2 million
pure
years of
despair,
galactic
it can
dominion,
also provide
yeah.
greater highs than you have ever known. And swinging between the two of them was the Eldar game. The warp took notice of this.
They're like, oh, we
heavily,
need a piece
and
of
it
that
began
shit.
to react. On a galactic scale, the debauchery and the hedonism of the Eldar race caused levels of warp storm so pronounced and so volatile that it cut off interstellar travel for all those who used it. Communications between planets was removed, and a nightmarish era of old night began. This
They gooned themselves into a traffic jam. That is what I am hearing. They legit gooned everybody into a traffic jam and made it everyone else's problem. I can respect the hustle, but oh no.
continued for thousands of years, hundreds of thousands of years. The Eldar all but removed from the problems being caused as they entered heights of more and more ecstasy. They needed more
They
and
went
more.
to making
and
God.
more.
Oh.
Nothing
Oh, they
was
created
ever
Slanesh.
enough. More murder, more
Oh.
torture. It's art, it's delicacies, it's life. This silence offends Slanesh. Wait.
The other one I can read in the dimension. Oh, okay.
Slanesh, the prince of pleasure, she who thirsts, the god of unspeakable
The one who makes everyone
ecstasy,
thirsty.
is
Gotcha.
our fourth chaos god, with the sacred number of 6 adorning their title. Slanesh is a bit of a tricky one, because with our other 3 chaos gods, there was a certain understanding of human emotions and desires. But for
So they made a
Slanesh,
god with the whole
that
reality.
desire is how they get their power.
Okay,
the words
that makes
to be
sense.
used would be decadence, pleasure, perfection, passion, excess, and many others. The pursuit of more. The want to do more, experience more, become more. That's what gives Slaanesh their gifts. A lot of people believe that Slaanesh is something that originates with sex, specifically, and it makes sense.
No,
why
there's
they
so many
assume
different kinds
that.
of pleasure.
The visuals of Slaanesh patrons are all very lithe and sexual, but they are also intentionally androgynous to appear attractive to a variety of intrigues. However, to think that Slaanesh specifically derives from sex would be mistaken. While it is
crusty.
true that
Oh, no.
a lot of humanity's actions can relate to getting laid, and Slaanesh is the dark prince of desire, it's more on the lines of feeling an excess
sounds
of
a
an
bit louder.
emotion. It is excessive touch and scent and desire, and a lot of that has to do with sex. That's why it looks like sex, but it's more than just that. A patron of
Or like when you have a really good pizza, but like it's a really good pizza. Or you have that Baja Blast at the end of your like Taco Bell order and you're just like, oh, life literally cannot get better. But then it can. Okay, I see.
the arts may feed Slaanesh, one that aspires to become the perfect chef or master of their craft, and the sheer pursuit of that alone will feed Slaanesh. Whiplash is Slaanesh's
Not the
absolute
Funko Pops.
favorite
Oh, no.
film.
Me with
Videos
Nendoroids.
where people beat Elden Ring on a dance pad feed Slaanesh.
There are no two words in the English language more harmful than good job.
What about Not My Tempo? God, Whiplash is such a good movie.
But
All
is there a
aspects of the other
line?
gods in excess, probably the most potentially powerful god. I could
This
see that.
also moves into the concept
Also
of
one of the most people
feeling.
seem to be into.
Sensation is a majorly
chat picked
Slaanesh-coded
out? Oh,
thing.
God.
It might
That was a
start
pretty
off
good one.
feeling good, but then you get to play around
Second
a
Baja
little
Blast.
bit, you know? You play with a little bit of pain. Light pain might not be enough, so you might want more. Or inflicting the pain could be your jam. Music can increase to volumes that
Inflicting the pain could be your jam. I see you, Mario Maker creators. I see you. They're like, yes, it's perfect. I even made a backdoor to make it so that only I can finish it. It'll have a 0.1% completion rate, and only I will complete it. Many will try. Only one, maybe two will succeed. And then they just like maniacally laugh and then have the best fucking night's sleep of their entire life. I see you. I feel like Mario Maker creators would absolutely feed Slaanesh by themselves. Anyway,
may hurt your ears and even
Geometry Dash creators, them too. Any Osu map creator over level 16.
then that might not be enough. More.
Optional manifesting
You
somewhere.
must have more.
Too late.
Many of the disciples of Slaanesh carry a demonic form in their lithe grace. The Keeper of Secrets is his chosen envoy, and their movements are a blur of dance and pain with an aura all the more fatal. They dance and sing, but there's always a form of malice behind every action they take. An alluring gaze that will pull you in right before the demonic entity can crush
they got them
you in
bedroom
that
eyes,
grip.
those little-
Slaanesh's palace has 6 layers surrounding it, and one of them is the excess of gluttony, where the participant finds themselves in a beautiful banquet full of the most delicious foods imaginable.
Like Joey Chestnut at a hot dog eating competition, but it's like a really good hot dog eating competition.
Tables of delicacies and rivers of wine tempt the user to such degree that they cannot stop stuffing their face, unaware that the things they are eating are very vaguely familiar meat. If one does not see themselves drowning in the river of wine, they may soon fill their bodies up so much that they cease to function and fall over, becoming part of the banquet themselves. That is one of these 6 layers of Slaanesh's palace.
Oh no, not the tag!
Was the ecstasy that the Eldar civilization indulged in for millennia, and did so at a monumental scale that they created a god from it. Find pleasure in every moment, indulge in every whim, let lesser races feel the burden of their crude lives. We are beyond such concerns or worries. Every power is ours to use, every sensation ours to experience. We are truly masters of the galaxy, and all others exist only to satisfy our curiosities. We have earned our position of power. Let us forever taste the
Narcissistic
fruits of such
much?
achievement. Time itself is ours to command. We are eternal.
So that's girl, treat yourself. I'm like, bitch, I might.
With the
You know what? You know what? I approve. The gang goons come Satan. Bars, Bricky. I see what you have. I see what you're thinking up.
birth of Slaanesh, the Eldari Empire ceased to be. A catastrophic event so horrible that the warp ripped a hole permanently in our reality. A fissure forever known as the Eye of Terror. With the sudden inhalation of this god's largest breath, the Eldari souls are a currency to be now collected by she who thirsts. Trillions of Eldar died in an instant. Slaanesh gorging on their souls to satisfy
They literally made like a soul nuke.
99.9% of their entire species died, and the rest are doomed to a fate worse than death. For Slaanesh now stakes a claim on each and every Eldar soul. From the moment they pass on, an eternity of torment awaits.
So they're not immortal
the
anymore.
Remaining Eldar
well, okay, they're immortal,
their
but
entire lives to stopping this eventuality. Their dying race so devoted to saving themselves from the Dark Prince, and in doing so, have found very creative ways.
It's permanent portal of hell.
In the modern world of Warhammer, the
So this is the
main force of Eldar in the
anti-Slaanesh faction.
Represent the elf style that many think of when you think elves.
Number
in
reincarnation?
Space. Fantasy.
Yeah, it's, well, I mean, they go to Slaanesh's like.
We'll get to them. A craft world
pleasure.
is a monumentally large
They don't
starship,
revive.
the size of a continent that acts as a form of flotilla. During the highest reaches of hedonism, many Eldar saw the demonic writing on the wall and began to try and seek asylum from their own debauchery. Those Eldar left
so they're long-lived, but not
craft
immortal
worlds
anymore.
into the far reaches of the galaxy and saved themselves from Slaanesh's awakening. The main thing the craft world Eldar seek is to temper their minds and bodies in a way that will never allow them to slide back into their old ways.
So they're
The
trying to not
representation
give
they
into
carry
pleasure.
is that of a more feudal Japanese motif. Eldar follow paths as they age. The path of the warrior, the seer, the poet, the diplomat, the bone
So they have to
singer,
live like
and
monks,
so on.
okay.
These paths are a strict code of conduct to
Like
hone
warrior
the
monks.
heightened Eldar psychology down a school of thought and action.
Eldar hates
And if it
Slanesh for their
sounds a hell of a lot like
Japanese
Bushido, well, you're damn right. Here's a medal and a soul stone. Don't lose it or an eternity of torment awaits you. Going through these
Soul
paths
stones,
will
wait.
allow you to take up not just a role in Eldar
Yeah, we're talking about
society,
those.
but keep your mind clear from the past worries that plagued them. Every Eldar is technically a psyker, however, very few of them actually utilize their psychic powers for fear of tempting she who
They
thirsts.
don't-
A large
okay.
amount of
They
emphasis
don't want to
also
accidentally
put
pull
on
some Slaanesh out.
ancestors of the Eldar and learning from them the farther you go down a path. This can sometimes be seen by the large variety of jewels adoring the armor of Eldar. Those are called soul stones, the biggest middle finger to Slaanesh they can think of. See, when an Eldar dies, these stones act as a backup, and instead of
So it's literally a USB drive of your soul. Or when you die, the backup goes there instead of to Slaanesh. Okay.
their souls going to Slaanesh, they are then trapped and stored in this little stone. So when the Eldar say
They're literally a
commune
Nuno
with
reverse
their
card.
ancestors, they mean so very literally, as the spirit and soul of generations before them are stored here. Often, larger structures may contain vast amounts of soul stones, such as
Like a
the
server.
Infinity Circuit in the craft world itself, allowing
recovery
the
disk.
souls
Okay.
of the dead to help power
I can dig
their
it.
enormous starship. The young do not desire the discipline of the path, but
You see
rather
craft worlds
their
to plug
curiosity
into.
drives them to try
I love when my
every
ship
fruit from the
ship plugs
tree.
into a server.
Thus, it is that so many take the path of wandering or the path of damnation in their first years of adulthood. And
Go to,
so,
but
the great
you're still aware
tragedy
of
of our
being in
kind is
stone.
played out again and again.
it just means like
as the
being like a
number of our
Tamagotchi.
people shrink from generation to generation. These paths, when completed, allow an Eldar to move to the next one, then the next one. However, since this
And
is
the
the
next
grim
one.
darkness
And the
of
next
the
one.
world, many of these paths rely on combat. The Eldar actually had gods at one point. Cain, Val, Isha. Azaryan, and so on. These
Wait,
gods are
those look
aspects of
like
the
Necron
Eldar
symbols.
pantheon, and while many were killed in Slaaneish's creation, their teachings live on. For some, the strongest devotion to the Eldar gods is to join the Aspect Warriors and embody the wrath of Cain, their god of war. While guardians of the Eldar craft worlds
So
are
Cain
more akin to a
is
trained militia, the Aspect
Elven
Warriors embody
Corn.
a particular variant of the path. Each are led by a Phoenix Lord, a name passed down from generations and embodying the souls of prior Phoenix Lords with each new one. The Howling Banshees, led by Jane
Well, I
Sar,
would assume so.
Fugan and his Fire Dragon,
Since
Baharoth
Slaanesh
and the
gets
Swooping Hawks, or Malgan Ra and his Dark
power
Reapers.
off of
Each
souls.
aspect shrine carries with it the Eldar way of war.
Kinda hitting right
Fast,
now.
hard-hitting, and incredibly tricksy, for they do not have the numbers to fight in any other way. The Craft World Eldar show how mangled an empire can be by their own actions. They once ruled the galaxy in an honest, non-hyperbolic way, but in the end, they were bested by themselves. And their most prominent remnants are forced to drift aimlessly through the galaxy, trying to save their species from extinction and resist the temptations of she who thirsts.
So it seems like they put themselves on the right path, but too late.
It's just beginning.
Hey!
Deep within the webway is the city of Kamara. This dark city once existed as a port in the webway that allowed for ease of transport for the Eldar between its various domains. The significance of this city meant that it needed to be a bit more of a neutral territory outside of the jurisdiction of general Eldar law, and therefore it was allowed to self-govern. This
Why does
did
that look
not
hard
go
as
well.
hell?
The Dark City became the hideaway for all manner of sin. The Eldar race slipped into debauchery on a galactic
So it's the
scale
Red Light
that it
District,
birthed a god,
but a planet.
and this was the city you went to when that wasn't enough for you. The convenience of being
so it's the Rave
deep
City,
within
okay.
the webway was that it exists as a blind spot to the horrors of the warp. So while the rest of the Eldar fled the downfall of their species, Kamara kept partying. When Slaanesh was birthed, they
They said another round.
the worst of it, thanks to them being nice and neatly tucked away inside the webway. But only somewhat. The Dark Prince did not have a grip around their soul, but the tiniest pinky finger, and they were still pulling. But due to their excess hedonism, they found a solution to this problem. If they tormented others, they could temporarily rejuvenate their souls and continue to cheat their inevitable
Murder
death
Vegas.
by placating the Prince of Pleasure. And if they kept this up on the regular
Space Vegas, but everything is a Metal Gear Solid 3 pachinko machine. Sponsored by Konami.
they could effectively become immortal. Thus, the Drukhari were born. Unlike
So,
the more
immortality
stoic
based
elves
off
you see in works
sadism.
of fiction, the Drukhari themselves exist as a sort of
Drought.
analog
That
of
makes
the more
sense.
grim and fiendish elves you find in
Look at
Norse
that
and
shit-eating
European
grin.
mythology. The Drukhari are soul vampires, but the more basic means to feed are hardly enough to keep them
want to
going.
bounce
This
on it
desire to feed
crazy
is known
style.
as
That's
the
what they look like.
thirst. And to quench it effectively, they have mastered the art of biotechnology and dark sciences to really juice themselves up on the crispy soul sprite
More
from the
couch
vending
people?
machine called the Galaxy. The majority of Drukhari act as pirates and raiders and
Okay, that's kinda
slavers.
sick, though.
They go into our
Okay, that's
physical
less sick.
reality and drag people back to Kamara to commit atrocities that go beyond any imaginative torture a human can think of.
Okay,
The
a little bit less-
Drukhari are organized
cool.
in various groups throughout the Dark City to accomplish this in a more organized and extremely brutal way. The Cabals act as the main warriors of the city, led by their Archons. Witches
Cool
and
armor.
Succubi act as entertainment for
Chat, I might have a bias. I might have a bias. Anyway,
Kamara in gladiatorial arenas, and the flesh-crafting homunculus keep the Drukhari alive and discover
you doing style?
ever increasingly more
They do be
painful
serving.
ways to torment their ever increasingly large supply of slaves they are brought. The Dark Eldar see the other inhabitants of the galaxy as little more than cattle, livestock that can be brought to bay or slaughtered at any time. Their fodder, however,
A lamb
is
to the
not
slaughter.
meat and muscle, but the anguish and
Zombies
despair
put them to sleep.
of the weak.
I bet they
The
sleep
Dark
so well after
Eldar
that.
do indeed drink blood, but also tears, and most sustaining
Which
of
calls-
all,
yeah.
the raw
We
essence
know.
of pain they wring out of their captives. The truth of the matter is that Drukhari sustain themselves on the suffering of others, not just morally, but physically. Kamara is a city rife with backstabbing schemes and murder. It is the worst back
Seems like a fun
alleys of
place.
the worst ghettos at the best of times. Nothing is more horrifying to a Drukhari than death, for death will see them in the
steal
talons
they
of
steal
Slanesh for an
sons?
eternity
Okay, that's kinda sick,
torment.
though.
So they do everything they can to stop this. The homunculi covens regrow dead
God.
members from pieces of flesh as bargaining chips. The succubi create grisly gladiatorial spectacles that literally rejuvenate the audience members as captives are murdered for sport. To be captured
That doesn't
by
sound
the
like sick by
Drukhari
how I normally think them,
is one
but
of,
how
if
with
not
pain?
the worst fate
No pain, no
imaginable
gain?
in the world of
With
Warhammer
no pain, no
40k.
gain.
In a universe built on war crimes, they are the most debased war crimers of all time. To be tortured and sacrificed in the gladiatorial arenas is a blessing, for you have escaped the fate of being in these
Hesperex.
flesh
Oh, is that who that
smiths'
was?
control group, or being turned into a living and breathing piece of furniture for an Archon's
There it
corpse.
is.
In a cruel twist of fate, a newly born Drukhari does not arrive into this world loving torture. It is something they must grow to love. Grow to appreciate
They go to
the
school for
suffering of
torture.
other beings in order to survive in the world they have been brought into. If they succeed, they become some of the worst monsters in the known galaxy. A dark
But it's a learned
reflection to the
behavior.
craft worlders and a taste of what Eldar society was like before the fall. If they do not succeed, they must
So if
find
anything,
purchase
they're
elsewhere.
actually more
Often those will
traditional
join smaller
Eldar
parts
than
of Eldar society,
the
like
Eldar.
the Exodites or the Harlequins. Exodites believe in a pre-industrial variant of their society, often retreating to more lush worlds to ride
just a
dinosaurs
dinosaur?
and live off the
Oh,
land.
okay, yeah.
Prehistoric style that I would normally laugh at if they weren't riding dinosaurs like ballers. The Harlequin
is kinda
dancing troupe are a subsect of Eldar that are
That's just Shaco
more
and
than
Lee.
just a little strange. A carnival of dancing jesters that serve the Eldar laughing god of Kegarak. They arrive never when expected and leave just as quickly. Blurs
expects
of
the,
light carry their footsteps as they dance their foes
the
into a
Drukhari
grave.
Harlequin
Combat is
position?
just as much of a joke as it is a play on bloody murder. They travel and aid many other Eldar and sometimes even humanity for reasons we can never understand. Perhaps one day we would have, were they not
Some of them
stripped
do got that
of
fit
their
on,
army
though, I will
book
say.
and folded into the Eldari Codex. So I suppose it'll have to stay a mystery, or maybe it was one of Kegarak's master plans to get back at she who thirsts and save their species.
Really, a lot of
Who
the
could
Drukhari
know?
also
Perhaps it
thirst
was
as well.
all a sick and practical joke to Kegarak, and he would just find it very funny to watch me fumble the discussion of one human on a tiny blue planet across the galaxy. Oh, speaking of,
The Emperor of Mankind! Okay, but yeah, let's see. This is a story in a book where Jakar, becoming an adult, was given a slave, and her mom told her to not just kill him, but torture him. I mean, here's the thing. That's fucked. But based off their lifestyle, like, if that's the only way they can stay immortal, I can see why the mom would want them to do that. Still fucked, though. It's the boy! Okay, let's learn about the boy.
before the fall of the Eldar,
Zagrak is,
Earth,
the one
or
Eldar god that's
Terra,
alive and
as
still
it's called,
active.
was in ruin. One man.
I'm gonna have
who
to have a
looks
list
put
of,
the
like,
pieces back
alive,
together.
deceased,
Where
or
did he
or,
come
like,
from?
split.
We don't know. Some say he was the result of early shamans. Some say he is the final old one who
His hair is
escaped their
glorious,
species
though.
genocide. And those that are smartest know the answer is it doesn't matter. He revealed himself as the Emperor of Mankind, and he was tasked with the most
John
monumental
Warhammer.
upheaval of humanity possible. The Eldari's warp fluctuations had turned
So he
the
could dunk
golden
on
age of
people.
humanity into old night. Interstellar travel cut off? Check. An AI uprising? Check. Brand new psychers popping up and not knowing how to handle their powers? Oh, check. Demonic incursions?
Sounds like a time and a half.
Thousands of years this occurred, and now the Emperor
God,
of
he has such a
Mankind
square
showed
jaw.
himself to put the pieces
Conan the Barbarian looking
back together.
motherfucker, look
Unifying
at him.
Terra under his rule, the Emperor
Actually, he
founded
just does
the
look like Conan the
Imperium
Barbarian.
of man and ruled it with an
Big E.
iron fist. He was the supreme leader, and nothing could stand against him. He wished to remove mankind from the yoke of its former failures, and he knew he would be the best leader they could have because he was right. AI banned.
And tall.
Religion banned. You did as the Emperor told you, or his Thunder Warriors would put you in your place. That place often being a grave. Now, Terra was
Conan but
thriving,
shiny. I could see
but
that.
humanity needed to
Have you seen Conan's
reclaim
ab, though?
its
His abs are
long-lost
shiny.
brethren scattered across the stars. But to do so, he needed those that could build him a fleet truly meant for the reconquering of the galaxy. And so he turned his attention to the red planet of Mars.
The Mechanicus. Okay.
Mars and Terra were close
We got our
allies
nerdy
long
boys.
before the Unification Wars. Mars was the first world terraformed by humanity and became what would ultimately be the first hive world, an epicenter for industry and technology.
Wait, so
the
Terra
Age
was
of
the hive
Strife
world?
did not treat the red planet kindly, however. Mars was cut off
Yeah,
from
the
Terra during this time,
nerds.
and the warp storms that ravaged the planet turned it into an absolute nuclear hellscape.
Yo, what's up, Toon Watcher? Welcome in, Gamer. We've so far gone over the Necron, the Drakari, the Eldar, and who else? And Chaos. So we're now going over the boy, Big E himself.
Those who were on the surface were turned into your run-of-the-mill mutant if they even survived the bombings they inflicted on themselves, but others were lucky enough to escape beneath the red sands in powerful
I missed
fallout
something.
shelters.
I missed
These
something.
became off from Terra during this time, and the warp storms that ravaged the planet turned it
Oh,
into
okay.
an absolute nuclear hellscape. Those who were on
Warp
the surface
radiation.
were turned into your run-of-the-mill mutant if they even survived the bombings they inflicted on themselves, but others were lucky enough to escape beneath the red sands in powerful fallout shelters. These became their generational habitats, but this resulted
Underground,
in
okay.
extreme reliance on technology and
So they're
those
nerds that live in the basement. I love them already.
who could use it. They began to view the technology keeping them alive less as a technological advancement and more of a divine intervention, with those skilled in it as priests. The Martians began to worship the power of the machine, and this resulted in the formation of the cult Mechanicus, the belief in
We're
a
watching
holy
40K. We're
trinity
learning about all the
known
factions.
as the 3-in-1. The machine god, serving as the spirit who gave rise to all technologies known, the motive force, the deity that gives all life its ability to live, and the Omnissiah, a physical manifestation of the machine god itself. This
Oh.
belief began to
Oh, it's
manifest
it's
in
very
them
much a trinity.
physically
Okay.
as well. What were once humans began to really mess around with the character creator options, and this tech obsession made them view instances of flesh to be weak and spend their lives removing what makes them human and replacing it with
The flesh is
mechanical
weak.
augments.
We can rebuild
Robotic limbs,
ourselves. We
glowing
have the
eyes,
technology.
mechadendrite arms. What was once a mass of flesh now looks like the back of a router, and the oldest members of the Mechanicus no longer even look
Would they?
slightly human.
I thought
In addition
they
to this,
hate
cloaked
Xenos.
over all of their mechanical appendages are robes that reflect the color of their homeworld, the red robes of the Mechanicus.
That makes
the Cult
sense.
Mechanicum, now the Adeptus Mechanicus, create a fascinating combination of cultures all birthed
Okay, that
into
looks
one.
sick as hell.
Basically, techno-zealot monks. Organic life is the machine god's greatest accomplishment within the scope of the great work. All praise he who is 3-in-1. By giving us life within an organic shell,
This is sounding
he
like a very
presents us
different
with the
religion.
means and opportunity to improve upon physicality, as is his divine plan. He grants us complex weakness
But they take
so
the tech-
we
okay,
might
that makes
learn
more sense
metallic
then.
strength and ascend to his level of machinic perfection. The Emperor's arrival to Mars was very much a walking in with the pizzas while the room is on fire moment, but to the Mechanicum,
Love their tech.
they
Okay,
saw
that-
his
that would make
arrival as
sense.
confirmation of their belief. They took one look at the glowing golden entity that showed up on their doorstep and were like, that's him. That's the guy right there.
We love that man.
Immediately accepted him as the Omnissiah. Obviously, showing up and being called Machine Jesus shortly after wiping out all instances of non-Machine Jesus.
Bro is a machine that turns calories into spreading
heresy. But the Emperor saw the bigger picture. Were they strange
humanity?
with how they rubbed unguents on themselves, burned incense, and prayed to machines for them to work? Sure, but that's a lot of production right there. So the Emperor devised the Treaty of Olympus Mons, a unifying agreement between Terra and Mars. And this union would be permanently etched into the Aquila of the Imperium as the two-headed eagle. One head for Terra, the other for Mars. The forces of the Emperor would be supplied with all the technology and weapons they needed to reunite the scattered remnants of humanity under one banner. And the Mechanicum of Mars would be able to keep doing what they were doing religiously and scientifically so long as they kept up their tithes. This tithe meant total quality control over all technology in the Imperium. Is it a big spaceship? AdMech take care of that. Tanks? AdMech take care of that. The literal bullets in a gun? You guessed it. But unlike the factories of today, the forge worlds of Mars and the creations of the Mechanicum
so they gave us better guns.
A different experience altogether. Instead of a factory on a random given world, the entirety of the planet's surface is dedicated to manufacturing. But that's a little tricky, isn't it? Considering that the usage of silica animus, or AI, is a big no-no, and basically the largest
2022
affront to
AI
the divine machine god possible. Fortunately, there's a really neat alternative that they've come up with.
Oh god, 2022 pre-sort AI.
Incredible devices that can do anything from manufacturing, maintenance, basic door operation, even just float around like a helpful little drone. It's an extremely easy process too.
Also really quick, they kind of preyed on my gun, but made it work so their channel. Also, yeah, I did say earlier, Toon Watcher, that if we hit 50 likes on the stream, that I will double my subathon timer. This is going to be a video later on. Praying to your router so the Wi-Fi keeps working. Oh shit, I'm already part of the tech. Oh god, I'm already part of the tech cult then. I'm like, please work, please work, please work, please work, please work.
To do is take a human who
these nerds kind of got some gumption, I'll say that.
An enemy of the state, most likely that one, and lobotomize them. And then reprogram their brains to do exactly what they tell you. They even got little baby versions of them. Yay! So now you can rest easy knowing that the entirety of the Imperium, because they outlaw AI and learning new tech is heresy, is run on lobotomized slaves. Whether they deserve it or not is unimportant, and whether they can still keep their consciousness trapped in their own minds is another thing entirely.
Hey, bro, okay. Oh, whoop, there they go. They're just in the wall now.
Your incompetence is showing.
An excerpt from
there he goes.
Servitor creation factories. Naked human beings were standing in a switch-packed line between high fences. The manufactorum produced
they are a door run by a person. You know what? I can't see a more
than a workshop. Every surface was easily cleanable. Servitors with spray units surgically attached to their backs prowled about, hosing filth from slit drains set into the perfectly smooth, slanted floors. As the line slowly advanced, the people were passed through various scanning devices, most of them mounted in ugly, functional arches that let out a constant series of acceptance chimes. Occasionally, one would let out an angry blare, and the indicator lumens would flash red. The rejected person was then swallowed up by a trapdoor opening beneath their feet. From these pits wafted a hideous stench and the grinding sounds of industrial mincers. One rejected man grabbed onto the lip and hung there, arms and hands bloodied, shouting a stream of defiant profanities. Guards lined the grating either side of him and shocked him until he fell. The adepts wouldn't even waste bullets on these people. The trapdoor flipped up, and the next terrified person was ushered forward. Violent metal arms snatched them up and spread-eagled them in the air, and a servitor shearer shaved them all over. At another, they were subjected to a high-pressure counter-septic wash whose chemical stink made me choke from 100 feet away. More scanners, more rejects winnowed out. Machines forcibly dressed them in a heavy rubberized garment common to all monotask servitors. These were saggy on them, all one size, until another process shrank them to fit their bodies, where metal
We
cuffs,
love shrink wrap,
sockets,
but on
and
people.
collars bit into vulnerable flesh. The last few prayers gave way to screams at that point, and even the most stoic
Lovely.
shouted in pain. They were ushered over a floor, buzzing with power that made them shriek with every footstep. "What's that for?" I asked. "Follicular inhibitor, to stop their hair from growing," he said.
Oh,
Sweet,
lovely.
Lois. As for their scientific pursuits, the Mechanicum believed in the preservation of knowledge above all and the quest to expand it. However, as opposed to just innovating and inventing on their own with their vast technological know-how, they believe that it is a form of tech heresy. You see, because of their religious viewpoints on technology itself, they believe that the instruction booklet itself is just as holy as the Lego set it builds, and to innovate on that without the proper written knowledge is to go against the divine word of the machine god itself. All knowledge is already in the universe. You simply need to rediscovering it.
You just
and
need to
attempting
re-find it.
Invent something.
They are embracing
improve
Baldur's Beautiful, though.
upon
That is fair.
Divinity is very heretical. Prior to the Age of Strife, humanity was able to populate the stars with devices known as Standard Template Constructs, or STCs. These devices were, as far as we know, supercomputers with the ability to pull up and detail how to create literally
Any counting error
anything
means that
a
you will be
startup colony would need. Essentially, they were devices with the entirety of human technological know-how so that you could make a home away from home. The Mechanicum will not make anything without an STC. Quite literally nothing, because this is the knowledge they seek, and that knowledge is divine. One time, scouts of the Imperial Guard found a functioning STC that provided the schematics on a knife that happened to be a bit lighter and a bit sharper than most other knives. These knives were adopted by 30 Space Marine chapters and were one of the most advanced discoveries of the century. This discovery was so significant that they were each awarded a planet for finding this. A planet
love getting
for a machine that taught them how to make knives.
prime real
Due
estate
to their
for how
religious
to-
organization, you can probably guess the Mechanicum are organized.
I love
in a
getting prime real
feudal
estate for
structure
learning-
with the
for learning
highest
knife
individuals
making.
in power being a part of the priesthood. Cream of the crop being the fabricator general of Mars itself, who serves as a high lord of Terra, but also oversees the entirety of the
Looks so
Mechanicum
sick.
below. Below them are tech priests
need
that
to be
oversee
sharper.
the cult for the quest of knowledge and other more straightforward theocracy. Forge worlds tend to operate slightly more independently, what can cause some power struggles within the Mechanicum, because,
I mean,
you know, despite
it
them all
happens.
being weird robots,
Yo,
they
sick
love
knife blueprint.
being
Here's a
given
planet.
praise. And despite being the manufacturing end of the Imperium, they do actually have their own military forces. They have the Skitarii Private Army and all their various 1920s Martian-style mechanisms like Doom Crawlers, Castellan robots, and of course, the Titan Legions. Because nothing
The
is
Titans
cooler
are
than a
so cool.
robot that towers over buildings. Ultimately, their very dogmatic view on technology as a whole has resulted in any innovation becoming absent, thus causing the Imperium to stagnate as a whole. The lack of ambition
That
to
does kinda
create
suck,
anything
though.
new and the wholesale murder of anyone who even tries leads to things becoming derelict. I grow weary of this flesh I was born into, strangely disgusted by its nature. I crave
Once
only
I
the
discovered
cold,
the weakness of
clean
my flesh, it
certainty
disgusted
of
me.
steel and silicon, that I might become one with the blessed machine. I do not expect
get
you
a
to
whole- get a whole planet
understand,
right?
you who cling to your flesh as if it were immortal, seeking only to preserve it, to protect it. One day you will see the folly of your ways, and then no doubt you will come begging to my order to preserve you. After the groundwork had been set unification-wise, it was time to start getting things together for the Emperor's great crusade.
This is really
across
showing me
the
that there's
stars
really
to
no
bring
good guys,
humanity
although-
under one banner. The Thunder Warriors were a perfect fighting force for unifying Terra and Luna, but the galaxy was a whole different thing. You
Their
see,
armor's
these
so
warriors
chunky.
weren't soldiers in the eyes of the Emperor. They were tools, extremely blunt tools used for the fast conquest of Terra. As the Emperor was concerned, the tools you use at home
When a
aren't
hammer
the
won't
same
do the
ones
job,
you take on a road
you
trip.
just hit it
So
again.
the Emperor rid himself of his tools in the exact manner you think he did, and he went forward to crafting a brand new tool. One more mobile, more efficient, and ready for his next era of conquest. They shall be my finest warriors. These
Wait, he
men
just
who
did away
give
with
of
them?
themselves to me. Like clay,
boy, do they
I
stick
shall
armor.
mold them, and in the furnace of war forge them. They will be of iron will and steely muscle. In great
Everyone's bad
armor
and
shall
bad guys
I
have drip.
clad them,
I guess
and
that's
with
fair.
the mightiest guns will they be armed.
Haven't
They will
given
be
too much of-
untouched by plague or disease. No sickness will blight them. They will have tactics, strategies, and machines so that no foe can best them in battle. They will be my bulwark against the terror. They are the defenders of humanity. They are my sons.
They are my sons! Well, no, not his sons,
And
because
they
his sons are
shall
there.
know no fear. The vastness of the Milky Way galaxy meant that the Emperor needed assistance bringing everyone back to the fold.
Wait, so I think I missed this. What did he do with the Thunder Warriors? He said they were like too blunt, so he did away with them. Did he just kill them off? Did he just kill them off, send them to die, retire them to like a nice farm up north? Like, take it to a mountain and put down. Oh. What? Why wouldn't he make them into Space Marines though? Yeah, very much the brother. I am pinned here. They were unstable. There was stopgap. Oh, so they. I still don't know why they wouldn't be raised into being Space Marines though. They were put in the dirt. Damn. 07 Thunder Warriors. But hey, we did get cool Space Marines from it. First battle was to kill the Thunder Warriors. That does seem very, very... because he's an asshole. So I'm starting to see a little bit, but you know what? Let's see what Big E's plan is.
And who better to do this than himself? But
was
since
being
technology to be in many places at once does not exist anymore, the Emperor decided that it was time to become a dad, the same way Geppetto did, and with far less care. It is not my son, Archon. None of them are. They are warlords, generals, tools bred to serve a purpose, just as
Okay,
legions were
he's
bred.
I've seen he's a little asshole.
What a dad. The Primarch Project was started to create charismatic and unique leaders in the Imperial military. The diversity of these eventual leaders meant that each one could be specialized for certain circumstances across the galaxy. Depending on the type of conflict, one leader
they're
might be
sick as
better than
fuck.
the other. So instead of forcing one leader to acclimate to a situation directly, it would
That's
be better
smart.
to send a specialized leader and force to handle it. In
Multiple
order to do
specialists.
this, the Emperor used his genetic know-how and maybe a little bit of that forbidden stuff to create these genetically perfect gene fathers that had
I've
the
seen that
ability to
image before. I
serve
don't
as
know
his
where though.
analog directly, and also serve as the leaders of the respective Space Marine legions. All 20, all 18, that's right, all 19 of his sons
Wait.
were meant to be directly molded by the Emperor himself, despite their genetic differences. And they go as follows in order: Lionel Johnson, Fulgrim, Percherabo, Jagatai Khan, Lehman Russ, Rogel Dorn, Conrad Kurz, Sanguinius, Ferris Manus, Angron, Robute Gilliman, Mortarion,
I have a feeling Angron might be
Magnus
angry.
the Red, Horus Lupercal, Lorgar Aurelian, Vulcan, Corvus Corax, and Alfarius and Omegon. His sons, finalized and crafted to be the warriors he needed them to be, were complete. But he may have
18,
decided
not
to do
19.
a bit of dabbling with things he shouldn't have, and paid a price. Before the Primarchs were ready
Is
to
this the
go,
Horus
an
Heresy?
intervention by the gods of chaos prevented his plan from being completed as intended. Though the sources vary, the ultimate result of the Chaos God intervention was that all of the Emperor's tools were scattered throughout the
angry.
galaxy at
Interesting.
unknown places and times.
name's
Each
Angron.
one of his sons ended up in a completely different world, and instead
He
of
left the
being
Ratchet
able to
twins.
directly influence their upbringing, these children were instead forced to experience the unique nature of their respective homeworlds. Some had a great time and lived in general luxury. Others,
Bro looks fabulous.
not so much. Despite his
Ooh.
closest advisor, Malkador the Sigillite, saying, "All right, Chief, let's try this one again," the Emperor sensed each of his sons were still very much alive. And one of
Go
the
fetch
primary
Torque.
objectives of the Great Crusade shifted to reclaiming each of his sons so they could take command of their specific
The side
Space
quest.
Marine legions and carry out his will. These original Space Marine legions that were created alongside their Primarchs go in order: the Dark Angels, Emperor's Children, Iron Warriors, White Scars, Space
the Iron
Wolves,
Warriors look pretty
Imperial
sick.
Fists, Night Lords, Blood Angels, Iron Hands, World Eaters, Ultramarines, Death Guard. Thousand Sons, Luna Wolves, eventually
Okay, we
Sons
fought
of
the Thousand
Horus,
Sons.
the Word Bearers, Salamanders, Raven Guard, and
Oh
the
wait, I
Alpha
heard the Salamanders
Legion.
are chill.
Space Marines, unlike their
then
gene
the Alpha
fathers, the
Legion, okay.
Primarchs are not made in a vat. There is a process to recruit more members from humanity itself,
Hey,
which
that's
seems
the
a bit
short
strange
film.
considering how massive a Space Marine is compared to a normal man. But don't forget, the Emperor is really good with genetics. Less good with anesthetic, however. These prospects are recruited across humanity from
Anesthesia, never heard of her.
reasons and methods, and are generally killed during that process. But sometimes they aren't, and they are able to go through more and more of the actual training to assess certain traits that are important and relevant to being a Space Marine.
So
Most of the
Spartan
time,
2's from
the
Halo,
common
but
factor
more
is
extreme.
a pure, unrelenting willingness to
Beaky
kill the
beakies.
enemies
I
of the
do love the
Imperium.
beakies.
After going through psychological screening, the prospect, now called a neophyte, goes under the knife to become a Space Marine. And here is a quick list of all the
Star Wars
cool new
universe.
stuff they get genuinely shoved
You'd
into
rather-
their bodies.
You'd rather want to live in like Star Wars or like Star Wars universe, Star Trek universe, Halo universe than live in the Warhammer universe from what I'm seeing.
Secondary heart, an organ that makes your bones grow, an organ that makes your muscles big, an implant that makes your blood stronger, a little organ that turns your white blood cells into super white blood cells, a brain implant that allows you to sleep while being awake,
So you're roided
a
as fuck.
stomach that allows you to digest literally anything, a spinal implant that allows you to absorb the genetic memories of what you eat. Big
What? Wait. Spine implant for genetic food memory. So, like, if you eat roadkill, you can experience what made it roadkill. And possibly even find out their license plate to figure out who did the hit and run. What? 2 hearts, 3 lungs. Okay, that's kind of sick though. That's fantastic for swimming. Although I don't know if they'd be able to swim with how chunky they are. Form of coat. You can eat an enemy and learn the battle plans. Yeah, but like, what if they're not tasty? You know what?
and better lungs that can let you breathe underwater, an implant that gives you stronger eyes, new ears that keep you from being dizzy, a brain implant that lets you go into suspended animation if you're in a bad shape, skin that acts like transition glasses, I almost got it in one take, a brand new kidney, the ability to taste the air and find enemies like a bloodhound, a special coating on your skin
So
that allows you to be
spine.
protected in space, the ability to spit acid, a gland that
Wait.
allows you to absorb the unique
They have. What? Why? I don't. They can swim pretty well. Okay, I mean, if you have that much muscle, I just would assume you'd sink. Your stomach's not fused with your spine. You now get to eat things to see their memories. Huh? Can eat the brain specifically. What? I don't understand the need for like acid spit, like Sky High. That's funny. I remember Sky
genetic
High.
makeup from the gene seed in the first place, and a straight up carapace that allows the Space Marine to interface with their power armor directly. Quite often, these are put inside of you at dubious levels of mental alertness and dubious levels of anesthetic. After
Talk
a
about
more
toxic traits.
generalized
Okay.
indoctrination into the faith of the Imperium and a bit more training and other
little
important
bit of
manners,
zealotry.
they can finally be welcomed as a fully fledged Space Marine. A Space Marine is quite literally a walking tank that is armed to the teeth. Two of the more iconic weapons held by a
I'm a
Space
machine
Marine
who
are
turns
their
food into
bolt gun,
memories.
which fires explosive shells
And
the
Xenos
size
into
of soda
paste.
cans, and a chain sword, which is the Space Marine is clad in a colorful carapace known as power armor, crafted from extremely heavy and durable ceramite. The power armor of a Space Marine protects him from any terrors he may face, be it the void of space itself to an inhospitable atmosphere.
look like walking
This armor
tanks.
combined almost biologically with an already massive physique makes the Space Marine an almost
They are big boys.
unstoppable fighting force. And hell, If the armor doesn't protect them enough, they can always become a walking coffin like the dreadnoughts of the chapters are. What truly adds to it
Lead
all,
me to
however,
the slaughter!
is the sheer difference in some of them. While a space marine in its own right is an indoctrinated freight train on legs, how they act
armor's
can be
sick.
quite different from chapter to chapter. The gene seed of a Primarch is not just helping them become big and strong, but allows them to
Gives them
gain
different
certain traits
personalities.
from their forefathers. Everything from how they think to even slightly adjusting their physical appearance once it's been implanted. The gene seed can be the personality of an entire space marine.
kinda
Take the
overwrites you a little bit.
salamanders, for example. Salamanders have a predisposition to fire as a whole, and tend to be extremely large due to the size of their Primarch, Vulcan, and his enormous stature.
Oh, he's sick
Whereas
as hell.
someone like Sanguinius, Primarch of the Blood Angels, share more vampiric features and more angel-like qualities. A gene seed is not just aspects of the Primarchs, but they are also flaws
They specifically
too.
hunt demons.
Magnus the Red and his 1,000 Sons underwent something known as the Flesh Change, a horrifying mutation that, while it made them strong psychers, would affect their bodies so terribly that they would mutate away from humanity. Where other factions have inspiration for their culture from our real world, like the feudal Japanese of the Eldar or Egyptian style the Necrons, each Space Marine chapter themselves carry an inspiration. The White Scars are motorcycle riding Mongolian fighters. The Space Wolves are Norse Vikings. The Dark Angels are Knights of the Round
I have
Table,
heard good things
and
about
so
Space
on.
Wolves.
This moves into their fighting style, and truthfully, there is
Okay, wait. Which are the ones that steal shit? Which are the? I know there's like two sets of like red armor legions, and one of them likes to steal shit, and that speaks to me. I forget which one it is. Anyway,
no end to the characters and options when it comes to the Space Marines. Space
Goofy
Marines are the
orcs.
main
Blood
symbol you
Ravens.
see, and
Space
while
Wolves are
many
very
of them
Mary
can be
Sue. They
simply
kinda seem
indoctrinated
so, but
warriors who
they
only
still
care
seem
about
cool.
conflict and can be quite
Blood
boring.
Ravens.
Then you meet Dante, or Bjorn,
It's on screen.
or
Okay.
Argel Tal, or Karn, or Lucius, or Erebus. And then you discover the wealth of these characters and tools of war you can have. For 1100 years,
Interlegion.
I have fought and I have seen the darkness in our galaxy. I have seen the vileness of the
That's more of a
alien
meme, I guess
and the
that's fair.
heresy of the mutant. I have witnessed the sin of possession, and I have seen all the evil that the galaxy harbors, and I have slain all whose presence defiles the Emperor. I have seen what you will see. I have fought what you must fight, and I have slain what you
Mimetic
must slay.
kleptomaniacs.
So fear not and be proud, for we are the sons of Sanguinius, the protectors of mankind. We are indeed the angels of death. Despite being the poster children for Warhammer 40k as a whole, the presence of a space
They definitely
marine is
are
a
the ones that
rare
sell,
sight for the
sell
countless
figures.
Trillions of humans across the galaxy. Seeing one of these monstrosities is like seeing something akin to an angel sent by the Emperor himself. These angels of death are the essential fighting force to bring
that's so cool,
humanity
though.
back under the unified banner of the Imperium. Yet ultimately, the Space Marines are individuals torn from their families and conscripted to genetic modification and lifelong service.
Would y'all say
for
that
the
they're
dying
overrated or
Imperium.
appropriately
and
rated?
Though they are held in an almost holy light, most believe they are above and beyond the people they are designed to serve. Once designed as the protectors of humanity, they seldom view humanity as something worth saving. To the extent that it
That
is
is a
a
rare-
tiny,
vampires, space wolves, or
minute
werewolves,
rarity,
so
though
they're
not unheard of,
furries.
for a Space Marine to put a normal citizen above them in any way. For most Space Marines and even their Primarchs, they are only here to do a job. They are there to kill the enemies of humanity, and I would be remiss if I didn't add at least one more of my
Overrated?
favorite
Okay.
quotes to the tail end of this section. The time for speeches is done.
Depends,
said
that makes sense. It
Rogaldorn.
probably depends on
the
the
first
faction.
great test is here. My order to you all
Or
is
legion.
simple, yet heed it well, and exert yourselves to see it done. They are coming. Kill them all. While the Space Marines are the spearhead of the Imperium's Great
Not entirely
Crusade and
overrated,
also
but
a
the folks
major
still too
player
much,
in its
yeah.
warfare,
I mean,
there
but-
is a significant amount of importance.
Here's the thing. When you make them kind of the self-inserts a little bit of the entire franchise, it kind of becomes hard to not become overrated. So then you have to start kind of finding legions that either are a little bit more under the radar or just latch onto other factions entirely. would give others as much love as Space Marines. Just wish they had more chapter-specific models. I could see that as being a problem too. Like, I feel like 90% of what I see is like the blueberry boys or the salamanders. Those are like the two that I see everywhere. You can make your own chapters too. Is that how the Angry Marines happened, or is that something else? 40K was about worshiping the military, put me off the franchise for a while. I can see that. I can see that. I mean, here's the thing. It feels like one of those things that's like, let's just turn Halo edgy. I mean, I know it came out prior, but I know it came out before, but it's like, I feel like this and like Trench Crusade is like the other one where it's like, I guess like the reason I didn't get into it in the first place is it just seems like one of those things where it's like, let's just make it so that no one can have a happy ending and everything just has to be serious. But then we have to also make it like, I don't know. It's definitely what put me off for a while, but like also I'm seeing like how much love people put into like their own like homebrewed factions, legions, and things like that, that like it's starting to kind of endear me to it a little bit. So I'm trying to give it like a real old college try on it, and we're gonna see if I can stick around with it. I will say though, some of the games I've seen look great. Some of the factions, fantastic. And I will say a lot of the character designs are pretty sick. So yeah. Anyway, take it away, Bricky.
That must be taken on their transport. What
That's funny,
sci-fi
non-serious
universe
stuff.
would be complete
I mean, the
without
whole
its
turning
navy?
people into
When you
predators
think
is
of
pretty
the
funny.
navy or ships on the open sea, you think of something that
The
is
orcs seem
sleek,
goofy.
something mobile, and something pretty big. For perspective, the longest self-propelled ship in history was the TTC Wise Giant, an oil tanker that was about 458 meters long or over about 1,500 feet.
Oh.
This right here is child's play in the world of 40K ships. A ship that is considered to be an
Wait, how
escort
big again?
vessel.
Wait, how big was this?
Something pretty big. For perspective, the longest self-propelled
That's
ship
an
in
100 chapter.
history was the TTC Wise Giant, an oil tanker that was about 458 meters long or over about 1,500 feet.
That's half a
Right
kilometer.
here is child's play in the world of 40K ships.
Oh,
a ship that is considered
that's-
to be an escort vessel in the Imperium is about 3 times the size of a Sea-Wise Giant, and the size of the ships only go up from there. Your most common ships are the cruisers.
So
the
it's
light
a
cruiser tends
kilometer and
to
a half.
average at about 2 kilometers long, or just over a mile in length, where the Dictator class cruisers can be over 3 kilometers or 2 miles in length. The largest ships are your battleships, and they are tremendous. We're talking 5-mile long, half a mile high monstrosities that look like gigantic Gothic cathedrals and filled
I
to
do love the
brim
cathedral aesthetic.
with weaponry. And not only are they filled with weapons, but they are also jam-packed with crewmen. Battleships tend to, on average, carry a crew between several thousand to several
Not
million.
seeing this time.
And
Gotcha.
they need every single one of those members because we don't have advanced technology for other things to pilot themselves.
Oh yeah, we don't have AI.
Because there's no AI.
There's no
Stuff has
Cortana.
to be done manually. Even the reloading of those giant batteries is a form of manual labor. And of course, generally speaking, gliding through the stars is a
That
very
does
slow
look
way
sick.
to do things. And let's be honest, there can't be a
Kill
science
planets like
fiction setting without
Exterminatus.
some form of
Yeah.
hyperspace travel. This form of travel in 40K is less like going to Plaid in Spaceballs and more like
God.
going into Davy Jones' zipper dimension in SpongeBob.
Oh, now what? I suppose you're gonna show me. Oh, gee, that's very nice. Oh, what is this? Some kind of magic act?
Oh, this is accurate. Wait. Population of country to run these ships. I mean,
This is because it utilizes
see with how big they are.
immaterial warp to do so. Warp travel is handled by a navigator,
literally have to
which
punch
is an
up
abhuman.
hole through the
it's
warp.
a mutated human, don't worry about it. And they have a gene that gives them a
mean, what's
third
not a mutated
eye
human
and
in
the ability
this?
to help steer the ship through the warp, which, as we know, is hell itself and unreality. Now, this might sound exceptionally dangerous, and that's because it is. Now, the ship
But
does
it's
have
fast.
protection in the form of a Geller field, though. Originally, I assumed the Geller field is what you think it is, a large force field stopping all manner of horrible things, like demons from the warp tearing apart your ship. How wrong I was, though. So space travel through the warp basically involves riding on the Sea of Souls. Hell is
Gotta
real,
fight the
and you
demons
can
off while you
surf
fly
on
through it.
So you allow the current to carry you and the navigator to direct. But how can a current of souls and unreality carry you when it doesn't obey the laws of physics, time, or, again, reality?
Before he goes over that, y'all ever like get like love bugs on like the windshield of your car, like when you're ever traveling for long distances and they just like don't scrape off? You ever feel like if they travel through the warp enough, like they're just gonna have to scrape the demons off? Like they're gonna have to get like some servitors out front to like grab like a mop to kind of like scrape the demons that kind of splatted across the front off? Humans are human subspecies originally from mutations. Navigator's one of the many things. Yeah, that does feel like something that they ripped from Dune. Anyway, how did they get through?
Geller field is not a force field, but a comatose imperial psyker dreaming of reality. It is not a bubble. It is a force of
so they put him in the
reality being projected by mutant Sleeping Beauty to counteract the unreality of the warp that you can then surf on.
Bro
This,
is
of
lucid
course,
dreaming
is
so
not a
real that
foolproof
unreal
method of
becomes
travel,
real.
and Geller fields can and do collapse fairly regularly. Being subjected to the warp itself without this Geller field is a terrifying prospect. In the best case scenario, your ship will be torn to shreds.
It
but
becomes
there are
like
countless instances of ships being thrown out of the warp
what's that one film?
randomly throughout time itself. You leave for a 2-day mission and you come back 90 years in the past. Maybe you feel like you're lost in the warp for a century and it's only been 45 minutes. And that is only if the waves of
what is
souls
the
don't
film
rip
where
your
they
ship
accidentally
apart
like
or have
fly through
demons
hell?
arrive on it to do unspeakable
It's a
things to the
film.
crew. The Imperial Navy is an astronomically powerful force for the Imperium because the sheer
That's what it reminds me
volume of
of.
ships and guns on those ships
Event
create
Horizon,
firepower
that
that
one.
can sunder planets. This is all juxtaposed with the sheer backwater nature of these ships. While they are manned by crews of zealots, they are also operated with such a backwater tech, it completely confuses the reader. You see the long batteries of portside cannons that the ship has, and remember that AI is heresy in this world and that all the mechanics are utilized by lobotomized slaves. So how do they load these? Well, they have gun gangs, massive gangs of hundreds of people manually loading these cannons.
That seems
These
so
are genuine
tedious.
gun loader gangs that get into gang
Event Horizon
wars and
is 40K adjacent.
squabbles. On the
Yeah.
ship's bridge,
That's
you
what it
may
seems
find
like.
the
The warp
captain
entirely just
himself
feels like Event Horizon.
hardwired directly into the ship's chair permanently to control it the best they can. Giant screens.
Hopefully someone at least
of
sponge baths them
data
off.
fill the room, and sensors across the ship are just as likely to tell you information as a serf running up to you with a scroll of parchment is. You reach to a microphone to shout
be the
orders down a
unfinished 40K movie. I
hallway
can
as
see that.
paper readouts tell you information of the enemy, and holy sigils and candlelit incense burners gleam your next move. While the is not a specific faction of the Imperium.
Oh, there they
In the
go.
same sense and format of this
I love how
video,
he just keeps.
it is
I love
what
these like
shepherds
Borderlands
around
like title cards
the
he
entirety
does.
of its armed forces. Every Space Marine Primarch had a flagship, and every strike
nice
cruiser and
sponge.
battle barge has a story
Damn.
to tell. But if there is a single thing that the Shield of the Navy does the best, it is to help support and supply the monumental forces of the
64 Battery Tech
Imperium.
13's
The
own sea
hammer
cells.
of the Emperor himself, the uncountable men and women of the...
The guard! Yo, it's the Helldivers!
I don't care if these things have adapted to resist our las guns.
What is Helldivers
If we
getting a
can't kill them
guardsman,
with our rifles, then
collab?
we'll kill them with heavy bolters. And if we can't kill them with heavy weapons, we'll use grenades. And if grenades don't work, then we'll fight them with our swords and our knives and our bare hands.
Right,
We'll
be closer.
drown
I want
in
to fight
our
them with my
blood.
sword.
That's what it means to be a soldier of the Imperial Guard. Now follow me. Charge.
Okay, so I only know vaguely of two factions or like two like groups in the guard. I only know of the Kriegsmen and the Cadians. Cadians from Space Marines 2. Those are the two I know of. Chat, what's your favorite between the two? Unless you have a different favorite. Like if you have a different favorite, I'm just gonna wait and just listen more. But like those are the two I know of. Line from a 40K game. Yeah, I mean, that reads as such.
There is no better symbol of the
Those are the biggest
might
two. That
of
would
the
make sense.
Imperium itself than the Astra Militarum, or as it is commonly
Kenneth?
known, the Imperial
I don't know
Guard.
that one.
Though the Space Marines take the glory and stand as the visual representation of the Imperium,
They're more like
their
the Special
numbers
Forces.
are
Okay.
dramatically thin and specialized in comparison. To
Kings of
reclaim a
Guardsmen,
million
Cabal
worlds,
Holland.
you need a countless number of troops willing to fight
Catacomb
and
Jungle
die for
Fighters.
your cause. The Imperial
Space
Guard
Marines seem
represents
sick.
the Imperial truth made manifest. Every year, the worlds of the Imperium pay a tithe in the form
I
of
just like the fact that they
soldiers to
purple eyes.
fight
That's
the
cool.
good fight of the Emperor, and this number is impossible to pin down. Even saying billions would be a dramatic
To undersell it.
understatement. The sheer
Yeah.
volume of soldiers serves as the fundamental backbone of the Imperium. 99.9% of battles fought by the Imperium are fought by the sundering might
It's
of
the cannon fodder.
Imperial
It's
Guard.
just-
With the knowledge that the
They're
Space
shooting at us?
Marines are
Shame.
essentially sentient tanks, what do the members of the Imperial Guard have? If they're the might of the Emperor himself, are they not suited up in a similar way?
They seem
No,
relatively
not
well
really.
equipped,
No fancy
despite the
suits,
fact that they're just
no
being thrown to the
biological
slaughter.
enhancements, and basically no
the Scottish-
expectation to
oh,
live.
I love that.
Once a regiment of guard are activated, they are sent directly into battle with almost no expectations that they will survive. This is because, despite their training, their incredibly powerful armor, and extremely strong weapons that would crush any army of the modern day, they are so hopelessly outmatched to the things they will face.
That's
Sending
insane.
a member of the guard is throwing a rock
Like, they
at a
seem
nuclear
pretty-
bomb. However, where they lack
Okay,
in
so it is Coughing
advancement,
Baby versus
they
Nuclear
make
Bomb.
up for in sheer numbers, and their overwhelming
Use part to
force
doorstep
can be
the
the
eye of
difference
terror.
maker in any deployment they
shit.
face. Quantity is a quality all its own.
I knew it
If
was
they
something
do
warp
happen
related,
to
but
survive,
I didn't realize
they
it was
will
the
be
eye
sent to
terror.
the next battle, and so on. Seldom do members of the Astra Militarum get old or retire, and those that do are truly to be feared. There's an old saying that the average lifespan of a guardsman is about 15 hours from deployment, and
I have heard that
considering the
meme
sheer
before.
number of guardsmen out there in any given battle, that number is probably accurate. When several million of your pool of guardsmen die within the first few hours of combat because the orcs threw a moon
Coughing Baby
at
versus
you,
one nuclear bomb.
it can
Yeah.
really screw the numbers. The
So wait, so what I'm hearing from this, it's kind of like it's kind of a fear an old man in a profession where you die young. So it's basically saying if you're an older guardsman, you're probably a badass, right? Coughing Baby, but you have a near infinite amount, and that hydrogen bomb's only gonna go off once. Okay, so you just throw more Coughing Babies at it. But yeah, basically it's like, if a guardsman's old, they're either extremely lucky or do not cross, you will die. I feel like that's what I'm getting from that. One guardsman who survived till actual retirement. There's 16 books, I think, called The Gaunt's Ghosts of Tanith First and Only. Haven't read it, but it's supposed to be very good. I wish I could get back into reading and stuff like that. But this is definitely like scratching that itch. Commissar Sebastian Old Bela Yarrick. I love when people have nicknames and stuff like that in it. Gaunt's Ghost is a goated series. Oh, so people are familiar with it in chat. The guardsman has gray hair. He's seen everything and killed it. Okay, that's kind of sick.
soldiers of the Guard are
That's
conscripted
kinda
and
sick,
trained
wait.
on an incredible number of worlds in the Imperium, and these worlds can impact their training and their combat style directly. The most famous
Probably
visually
want to be one a
are
Space
the
Marine.
Cadian shock troops.
Oh
But
no,
other
Bricky,
notable
let it
Guard
out, let it out.
factions
Oh, there they are.
include the gas mask clad death corps of Krieg, the Rambo level of Catachan jungle fighters,
Oh,
and the
wait, that's what somebody in
iron-wielding
chat was saying.
Mordian Iron Guard. This also helps them
That's
specialize against individual types of enemies. The Indigan Prefects are a special guard regiment that came from a planet whose planetary governor, the leader of the planet, thought it was fun to collect exotic animals, which then crossbreed and then became the giant freight train-sized monsters destroying the planet. So the Indigan Prefects are specialized for
yeah.
big monsters.
They're monster hunters.
Hello, Tyranids. One particularly interesting officer in the Guard is the enforcement officer known as the Commissar. And they are one of the
I've
more
heard about these
visually
guys.
striking members of a regiment.
They got the big
These
hat.
are specialized Imperial officers and act as morale officers. But instead of singing songs to the troops and providing hot meals, the Commissars are there to make sure that the members of
scare
the
the shit out
regiment
of you.
continue to fight to the bitter end. If a soldier does not meet the standards
They're the
of the
hype man,
Commissar,
but,
the solution is simple. There are trillions of other soldiers out there. We don't really need you. Combat fatigue? Headshot. Concerns about the conflict? Headshot. Fleeing the battlefield?
So the hype man, but like
That's a
at your own
headshot.
peril.
Considering that these officers tend to be outside of their regiment, feelings on them can be mixed. And in fairness, certain commissars, like the esteemed Ibram Gaunt or Caiaphas Kane, tend to do a bit better with
Oh,
the
bro
whole
is swaggy with it.
people talking part. Because if, say, you were trying to tell a beefed up Catachan jungle fighter what to do, you might take a mysterious leave of absence
enemy the
inside a
orcs?
carnivorous plant. But no matter what I say,
Aaron's ass was supposed
I don't
to
think I
kill
can
him.
truly convey the sheer might of the Imperial Guard, so I'm gonna get a visual aid. Let's take a look at this image right here, right? This is the cover of the 9th edition Codex for the Astra Militarum, the official cover art. Your eyes may be drawn to the dark and brutal looks of some of the main members on the front and the gigantic orc they are attacking. But
That is a big ass word.
zoom out a little bit. There is no floor. There is only people, and behind those people are tanks. And behind those tanks are flying artillery shells. There are 2 enormous transport ships in the sky, and their ramps are down, and on their ramps are more people. The Imperium is described as having a million worlds. A million worlds.
And each world can have a
one of them
billion.
gives soldiers to the Imperial Guard for the tithe. On a given
Oh,
battlefield,
so
in a
there's
given fight,
quadrillions,
foot soldiers number in the millions, tanks in the tens of thousands, and you have enough artillery to turn the night sky day. You have walkers and APCs and aircraft and horse cavalry and tanks the size of apartment buildings.
Horse cavalry is kinda
you
sick,
have
though.
drop troops and
Kinda-
spec ops
kinda
and
stupid,
rattling
but-
snipers and gigantic ogres that can't count to 4, but they can turn you into 4 pieces, and it just doesn't end. Humanity is a horde army, but instead of a horde of bugs or rampaging,
Oh, I feel my
it's
graphics
a
are
living
exploding
wall
watching
of
this.
guns. At the end of the day, though he's been ferried through hell on a ship that's 10,000 years
Oh
old,
God, it would be
to
raining
some
men.
God-forsaken, war-torn rock. Though he deployed from high orbit with nothing but a grav chute, though he is one of 10 million men and women snatched from his homeworld to fight a war he barely understands, though he has been
Aldrin's
given
my
a weapon
beloved.
that fires small suns
know
and may
those are.
annihilate him as he fires, because the knowledge of how it functions has been lost, though his company
Yeah, they
is
just
supported
charge.
by
They just-
tractor tanks
you know
that
what?
run on
It's literally
anything
time's
you
up,
can
let's do
burn.
this, go
Though
full Leroy
he
Jenkins with
wages
it.
war against the devouring hive mind, ravenous demons and hordes of
Hallelujah.
hyper-advanced
I like it.
aliens with strange technologies and sorceries he never dreamed existed. No one will remember his sacrifice. There will be no records of his deeds, no glorious parades in his honor, and no remembrance of his name. All he will earn is a shallow, unmarked grave on a forgotten world, untold
Pleasant of them to
light
even
years
bury
from
him.
home. Yet for all this thankless sacrifice, a guardsman is a man, just like you. He has no millennia-old genetic engineering, no prophetic leader, no miracles of faith. He has his lasgun, his orders, and those beside him. He is the Imperial Guard, and he will hold the line. In the
So
end,
it's literally
the Astra
fucking Meatball?
Militarum, despite fighting for the honor
look
of
at
the
that smile.
Imperium, are their own form of a massive horde army, where individuality does
muscle
not
with
matter.
child
They are
lines.
merely numbers to the Imperium, and the vast majority of the conflicts they are sent to are attrition-based battles that gain virtually no ground, while countless millions die. Yet this makes them
So the big
the
meatheads,
most human.
gotcha.
For the Imperial Guard contains normal people, people who are happy and sad, people who laugh and love, and in there are stories, because there is strength in facing the horrors of the universe head on with nothing but a rifle in your hands and a prayer on your lips. Armed with an innumerable
exists and it's
amounts
not
of
human,
Imperial soldiers and
we need to
Space
make it not
Marines,
exist.
the
That's
Navy
what the
begins
Guardsmen
its
basically
great
think.
crusade into the stars to rescue the stranded Primarchs and reunite them to their legions. But the biggest question needed to be asked was, what would they find? The Age of Strife lasted for thousands of
What
years.
a demons!
If a civilization was still alive out there in the
And
galaxy,
aliens.
what would they be like? The technological advancements of humanity prior to and during the Dark Age technology was unfathomable. It allowed them to spread through the galaxy with ease and allowed them to settle once inhospitable planets. These branches of humanity were provided with the vast knowledge of human creations and were given gigantic machines to make arduous labor and ease. The spreading of these massive
make things that
colony
exist
ships
into
was
things that
known
don't
as the
exist.
Long March, and these ships would be retrofitted into settlements upon arrival to their new homes. Accompanying them were the
it's like the
gigantic
Spirit of
pieces
Fire
of
from,
farm equipment
Halo
that served
Wars.
multiple purposes and the specialized pilots that could maintain them. They were not only able to tend the fields and do labor, but when interstellar communication was cut off, they also did a great job of protecting the colonists against both threats,
Titans look
demonic
so
and
cool. Or the
alien.
Knights.
Because of the significance of these machines, those that could pilot them were powerful enough to be considered leaders, and the upkeep and preservation of the machines and the lineage of those who could pilot them was imperative. These machines, over the
become a
thousands of
familial
years, would
thing.
eventually be known as the
I will say, of all the figurines, the Knights
must
definitely
be
feel the
humble
most
of heart,
striking.
strong of arm, be savage in war, loyal to hearth, and follow deeds of glory. He must keep honor with all, banish cowardice
Very
from his
Pacific
doings,
Rim.
and bring his house no shame. He must serve the emperor and defend the Imperium. Thus should a knight rule himself. The Age of Strife caused these colonized worlds to be cut off from the Imperium,
Things and
and
Knights
the
are basically the same
reversion
thing when
of
you look
these
at them.
worlds
Just one's
resulted
bigger.
in the reverence for this farm equipment turned feudal.
They're definitely
and
the most
leadership
striking.
that control the devices became viewed as a noble hierarchy. During the Age of Strife, exploratory fleets from Mars found
So, like,
plenty
actual
of
knights
these
then,
worlds,
okay.
and it seemed the majority of them reverted to a similar state. Like King Arthur seeing Merlin himself, these feudal worlds welcomed the tech priests of Mars with open arms. The mutual relationship between the Admech and the nobility was beneficial. The Admech were able to secure more worlds for mining resources and
Almost the size
potentially
of-
long-lost
Huh?
STC information,
that work?
and the noble houses were provided with technological know-how and modifications from the Admech themselves. The suits
Oh,
became
models
more
that are
and
that
more
big. Okay.
specialized, and their history as mere pieces of equipment were lost to time. What was once a tractor became a killdozer, and the
Oh,
Imperial Knights
that's
were
what
born.
people were talking
Unlike
about
other
earlier.
military aspects in the Imperium, the nobility of the Knight houses
Ah,
remains
people were
just
saying they
that,
would call it
a
killdozer.
nobility-focused feudal hierarchy that swears fealty to either the Mechanicum or to Terra. Like the Knights in our history, once
Hear me out though. Hear me out though. You know those like farming simulators, like where you drive a tractor? How long until we get a 40K farming sim where you drive as a pre-retrofitted knight? And it's your job to harvest grain for a colony. But like it's the same kind of controls as like a farming sim. So it's like tractor controls, but giant robot. That idea is free, Games Workshop. Just give me credit for it if you do it. I'm just saying, like a cozy, just like kind of like cozy game. Like it's like people play like Euro Truck Simulator. Yeah, it's just like a pre-retrofit. It's like Time of Peace. It's pre-Long March. It's just you, the knight. That needs to be a thing. Mech simulator, like mech warmer farming. Right. I think that would be kind of sick though. Like, it's just. That would be so funny. That'd be so funny. Or imagine they had like a mech warrior game where there's like two halves of it. And it goes like backwards 1,000 years, forward 1,000 years. Like backwards 1,000 years, it's a farming game. That's like one side of the gameplay. The other side is just like you laying waste to like enemies of humanity in a time in the war. I'm just saying. Yeah, wait, question though. Yeah? I'd play it. Every genre that can be made for 40K. I'm just saying though, like, if it's in the lore, just make it a game. I'm just saying. The characters have vague southern accents. Yes. Anyway.
They swear fealty. They can be called to aid their respective allegiance in the heat
so
of battle.
cool.
The ones that swear
I think these are my
to
favorites so
Terra
far,
are
what
led
I've
by
seen.
the High Monarch, while the ones with the Mechanicum are led by the Princeps. The ones with Terra might be sent directly to the front line of war,
so
while the ones with the Mechanicum tend to be sent to protect the Forge world. And the heraldry of these houses is what
So
you'd
they're both
expect from a
Mechanicus and
generic
Terra.
history of knights. Houses pledging allegiances here and there, your run-of-the-mill War of the Roses aesthetic. Except instead of ponies, you have gigantic death machines. These knights can't seem to be
I love the
piloted
Kildo
by any
sandwich.
old person, however. A member of the nobility of any given knight house must go through the ritual of becoming. This ritual involves them sitting on
they're
the
very
device used to
hereditary.
control the knight, known as the Throne Mechanicum,
Great
for
Crusade
a
and Great
full
Crusader
night.
needs to be
What's
made.
wrong with
That'd
that?
be cool.
I mean, sitting in a chair for a full evening sounds pretty great right about now. So a pilot
That's what I do all day
cannot
anyway.
drive a knight. They can, but it moves about as effective as Ripley from Aliens 2, big, lifter thing. It is, in a sense,
the lifter was cool,
a
though, in that.
beast that must be controlled, and a pilot must merge with it. The mind of the noble is connected to the machine and must fight with the mental signatures and personalities of the prior pilots as well. Everything a knight
So you have to
experiences
get-
in battle is felt by
you have
the
to get on
pilot
their level.
themselves, be it the general movement in the battlefield or damage
British country
sustained
accents,
by the
ooh.
machine itself. If a knight's leg is blown off in battle, the pilot could experience a broken bone in the same spot. The merging to the machine
so this is like some
forever
full dive
changes the
shit.
mentality
Okay.
of the noble that experiences it. This connection reinforces a strong degree
No,
of
not the
nobility
Scorpion
and
gaming
honor
chair.
in the pilot, and a desire to fight for the
those
glory
look
of
so
their
bad.
house until the bitter end, as their ancestors' minds are linked directly to the knight. The size of these knights can vary, but generally
family
speaking,
business.
they stand in the ballpark of 30 to 50 feet tall and
Must
are
be drift
protected by
compatible.
a
It seems
thick
like familial drift
adamantium
compatible.
armor. Beyond that, they have their own unique ion shield generators that give them added protection, and when it comes to their looks, the most common pattern across the Imperium is the Questoris pattern, and is honestly the one you're probably thinking about right now. But there are also smaller versions like Armigers and
There's
bigger ones known as the
Tines,
Dominus.
there's giant
As for a
ones.
loadout, these guys are essentially a violent Mr. Potato Head. Battle cannons, Gatling cannons, heavy flamers, thermal cannons, up close
The
and
heavy
personal.
flamer.
How about a gigantic chainsword or a straight up gauntlet? And for that
I don't-
empty spot up top,
Giant
screw it.
chainsword's kind of metal,
More
though.
autocannons. Maybe add some missiles. Whatever you can do to make it as over the top as possible, you gotta
Until
do
I'm heard
it.
of
A
every prior
squire
pilot. That
serves
is
a
kinda
knight,
sick, though.
A knight serves
I
a
do- I
lord,
do love the
a
familiar
lord
aspect of
serves
it.
a baron, and a baron serves a monarch. So who does the monarch serve? He serves every subject, from the rudest serf to the members of the court. Chivalric fealty, when
Titanfall does
ideally
something
practiced,
similar.
is not a pyramid, but a circle. Ironically, on
You can't mention Titanfall here. It'll immediately make me think, Protocol 3. I play Titanfall multiple times a year. I love that. I love that game. I love that game. I love that game. I love that game. I started playing it during the peak of the DDoS attack era, though, which was kind of unfortunate, but that game is still so peak. Paso Nights as of Wednesday. Wait, they literally. You know what? I'm gonna look this up. They just made a new one. I'm looking this up. The Destrier class. Wait, let's see. Destrier. What do these look like? A new class strikes a battle. Oh, they look a little bit sleeker. Yeah, that looks sick.
the surface, night worlds themselves are one of the least grim dark settings in the galaxy. Reverting to an ancient time with knights and peasants is almost an escapism from the techno hell of the modern Imperium. But this, of course, doesn't make it great for everyone. It sounds
It
fun
feels
on
like
paper
being a
to
night
play a
operator
game
is
of knights,
probably
but
not
it's not so fun when you're the peasant of that world.
worst.
For the knights themselves, the knights give their entire lives to the Throne Mechanicum, and their reality is not their own, as they have to hear the voices of thousands of generations of their ancestors controlling their actions.
Like, it
and
brain
their
gets a little
lives for
scrambled,
as
but
long
it
as they
seems
live.
like there's
It's a strange
worse-
dichotomy. When it comes to Warhammer, most to all
There's
jobs
worse
tend to be
fates.
terrible. However, if there was one that could be considered enjoyable, it would be the pilot of a knight, or
Yeah,
a
exactly.
princeps of their larger cousins. While it does contain an egregious amount of hardship to be a knight pilot, you do enjoy a wealth of privilege. A knight pilot is often an asshole who can back it up. The rich noble that, despite his braggadocious behavior, is still very much him, and he will continue to
He
be
is
him.
him.
But
Okay, he did the
knights,
thing.
are not the only thing that the Imperium found lost in the stars during their Great Crusade. Due to the circumstances of the Age of Strife, humans were changing and adapting to their new homes they were now isolated on. Some of these humans evolved over thousands of years to adapt to these areas, and they were known as abhumans. Many abhumans found their way into the Imperial Guard or other lesser positions in the Imperium if they were not wiped out immediately for being too different from their human counterparts. But their abilities and appearance vary from planet to planet, and one particular group of abhumans have made quite a name for themselves in the center of the galaxy.
So these are mutated humans. The kin.
The origins of what will be known as the kin start at some point during the Dark Age technology.
Are these the rock and stone?
Ancestors left a planet that is very much Terra and went to the galactic core to mine it of its resources.
Oh, this sounds very rock and stone.
Everything that they would need for a long-term stay. Most important of which were the incredible AI-based supercomputers, be it guidance, technical or philosophical,
they never got
schematics,
divorced
or the
from
ability
AI
to
tech.
upload the memories of a deceased explorer to gather information from them. These computers became an essential part of their everyday life, especially considering that the galactic core is one of the most inhospitable
They're space
places in the
dwarves
galaxy.
with
It is
AI.
an exceptionally star-dense location, full of abnormalities, black holes, and sentient hostile nebula. Whatever that last part means, it is not a safe and easy place to make a living, and this only got worse thanks to the warp storms during the Age of Strife.
I mean,
In order to adapt to this area, these travelers perfected a genetic makeup that made their future clones to be more adept to the area. These future clones would be shorter and more robust than their ancestors, and the need to procreate would be unnecessary because why risk messing up a good employee when you can just make a new one? These would be known as the squats, and they would all die, except for when they didn't. And now they are known by a different name. Most void-faring races have at least one cautionary tale of foolish explorers vanishing amidst its blazing stellar nurseries and strange anomalies. Yet for the leagues of Voton, the galactic core has been home now for millennia. These squat humanoids would begin to establish
they seem kind of cool though,
and their goals will be the same as their ancestors: rock and stone. But like actually kind of
rock and stone
Whenever
to the bone.
one of them would die,
they just want to dig
sucker
holes.
would need to be uploaded to the machines like their forefathers did. But the original purpose of these machines was lost to time. What was once a technical resource for them turned into a ritual known as joining the ancestors. And the fact that they were
and their
clones
afterlife
at this
is
point meant
becoming
that the same
internet
copy of the same individual would be uploaded countlessly. The sheer overuse of these computers and the repeated uploading of redundant data has turned these once powerful supercomputers into your parents' computer after you install LimeWire on it, and whose 50 Google Chrome tabs definitely contain information they will return to one day. So much corruption that these computers began to develop the makings of a personality of their own.
Oh, that's
These
right.
would be
Those are
known
the
as the Voton, and the kin, this dwarf-like abhuman of humanity, would revere them. The Voton still operate to this day, but the volume of corruption have made anything outside of their very basic functions highly unpredictable. They may not answer a question for centuries at a time, and if they do provide an answer or data,
they did mention that. Bricky did mention that earlier.
That it takes a literal kin wizard to comprehend it. The kin, much like the dwarves of fantasy, exist nowadays as a mercantile species that constantly work to mine and manufacture. However, their capitalistic desires are dangerous. The biggest crimes a kin can face are being lazy, unproductive, and breaking a contract. Stellar conflicts have broken out over hundreds of years due to the breaking of a deal.
So they're a little tight asses
about it. If you sign a contract with a kin, you best stick to it. Because of this, the kin have been known to interact with other species in a fairly common manner. This includes humanity, who have met various members of the kin multiple times, but constantly considered them to be all a different species. Famously, the Imperium noted that the kin they referred to as the squats were their own species and were wiped out by the Tyranids. Little did they
Capitalist
know,
space
they were
dwarfs. I
still
love
around.
that for
The
them,
kin
though.
are acutely aware of two things. The first is that the humans of the Imperium are deeply terrified of technology. So the sheer existence of the Voton is a secret as well as the truth. This extends also to the Iron Kin, sentient robots that are treated in the same esteem of flesh and blood kin, because kin is kin. The second thing they're aware of is where they're from. They are fairly confident that they are from
So
Terra,
it's basically, wait, is that basically a backup of another kin, but robot? Oh, I love that. That's like BT.
Know that if this secret was to be known by the Imperium, that the Imperium might want to take ownership of them and everything they've built. So the more alien they are, the better. Now, this sounds fine and good, right? What could possibly be wrong with these guys besides the hyper late stage
Wait,
space
please tell me they're not
capitalism?
fucked up. Please,
we have to go back to their creation. The kin are an entirely clone-based race made from the computers that are exceptionally difficult to recreate.
Actually,
these machines,
okay.
the Voton, are becoming more and more.
So when your
unpredictable
robot
and
girlfriend just
if
ends up
anything
being
were to happen to these
your kin.
machines, it would be a twofold ending of the kin. New kin cannot be reproduced, reducing their numbers, and the existing kin would have no
Yes,
further
4%.
purpose because the end that awaits them would be non-existent. The horror of the kin civilization is that the entire purpose of their lives is to do the best they can at their duty and upload all they know to the Voton, their ancestor cores, join their ancestors. But doing so is actually the thing that is killing these supercomputers in the first place. The ancestors were dead, but through the first truths, their legacy continued. And though
I'm
their
trying
eyes
to
had shut
wrap my head
long
around
ago,
this.
indeed the ancestors
kin,
were
though.
watching.
I love that.
Not with a gaze from eons gone, but with the eyes of every living kin. Each generation was the embodiment of the ancestors cast anew by the Voton. The galaxy changed. Stars died, planets were destroyed, and civilizations fell. But as long as the Voton endured, the ancestors still lived. I do want to end this last bit with an enjoyable quote from one Kim. As you may have assumed, the Leagues of Voton are space dwarves with a corporate sci-fi motif, but they are still very much dwarves. They're squat, they're strong as hell, and they hold serious grudges. This time it's just more about your contracts than anything else. And so because of this, they might treat most things about how you would expect a capitalistic dwarf would treat things. You misunderstand, human. I am not here to debate.
Merchant Gimli.
I am not here to compromise. What you see as yours, I am taking for my kindred. You want to bargain? Torek, unholster our means of negotiation. As the Great Crusade continued, humanity would find their missing Primarchs, reestablish the locations of all of their various worlds, and finally reclaim what the Emperor was always hoping for. But eventually, all the Emperor sought to build would be his undoing. His original attempt to have all of the Primarchs lead his great armies and usher humanity into the better ages would end up crumbling down. And we will learn about how the Imperium backslides and the horror of the modern day of 40K in part 2. I will see you very soon. Thank you so much for watching.
I'll be learning very soon. Thank you, Bricky. Thank you, Bricky. Very, very, very cool. So I'm still confused, but for, like, obviously this is trying to take hundreds, if not thousands of books and trying to condense them into, like, a very, very, very bite-sized pieces. This is very much... Let me also, have I liked the video? The mass has not liked the video. By the way, everybody, if you have not seen this video before, please make sure that you are liking it and going to go check out Bricky as well. Here's the vid right here. But yeah, no, like, here's the thing. There's so much just breadth of content within this medium that it honestly, breaking down even that much into 2 hours is pretty insane. I still feel like here's the thing. I still feel very, very lost when it comes to like a little bit more the nuance of each factions. I feel like Bricky absolutely like nailed it there. But obviously there's like each individual legion of the Space Marines. There's obviously all the different like legions of guardsmen. There's obviously like, we didn't even cover the orcs yet. We didn't even cover the orcs, the Tau, the Tyranids. It feels like jumping into a pool, but the pool's made of molasses, so you're having a hard time treading water. Yeah, breaking it down to the point where I can understand it. It's like turning like a nice medium rare steak into like grinding it up a little bit so it's something that's easier for me to eat without a knife and a fork. Yeah. Ricky's a video that covers each legion. And I'm definitely going to get into that sometime soon. I definitely want to intersperse some more. Like, I definitely want to learn a little bit more because I know both a lot of people in my community really, like 40K is a very, very special part of their lives. It's also become a very, very important pastime for like a lot of my friends lately. Like, I'm not going to lie, a lot of my knowledge set of like pastime that people tend to like build and paint tends to come from Gundam. Even though I don't build Gunpla myself, I'm very, very much immersed in a lot of the history of the Universal Century, of Gundam, of like everything from the 1 Year War, all the way to the Grips War, all the way to like well after. Like that's my lore. That's what I'm good with. That and Star Wars. Fool's molasses in the 4K guys are going for your toes. No. I'm definitely going to be doing video part 2 on the next day that I have dedicated for YouTube. I actually don't know when my next YouTube stream specifically is going to be, and we're not done yet. We're not done yet. I do have one other special video that I want to go over as well. Someone who's been into 40K and lore for over a decade. I welcome anyone to the hobby. Yeah, I definitely feel like there's definitely two mindsets. There's the people who feel like either you're a tourist, you're just kind of like passing through, you're taking a quick peek and seeing what it's about. And then there's the people who dive in, just feet first, join chaos. I will definitely say the Votan, the kin definitely seem the most chill isn't the right word, but they seem the most normal in a way. The Drakari seemed fucked, but in like a kind of playfully sadistic way. Also, they have a look, they say succubi, and I'm a little biased. As for mankind, like I hate to say it, like we all make memes about Big E this for the Emperor that. He seems like kind of an asshole. Yeah, fuck the gatekeepers. Yeah. You should look at the models to see what you'd like. I definitely want to pull up, like... I think I'm going to have to save that for next time, because I do also have another stream after this as well. Botan chill. Unholster our negotiations! But they do seem... They do seem like the most normal. It's kind of an understatement. Yeah, it does seem like a little bit of an understatement. The Votan seem the most normal from what we've seen so far. The Necron kind of feel like... So far, the Necron feel like... Yeah, ever sleep for like way too long and you wake up pissed off because so much has passed that you feel like your day is ruined. But instead for them, it's like they woke up the kind of pissed off. It's like, our entire life is ruined. We're going to make it everyone else's problem. Like, I am that boss bitch and everything is mine. I woke up pissed off. I woke up... There was no right side of the bed. I'm still sluggish because I'm eepy and I'm waking up, but I'm going to make it your problem kind of thing. You see, it was supposed to be Emperor's fault. Seems like if he was a better dad, there wouldn't have been as much heresy. The Eldar feels like post-scarcity. Gamer, thank you so much for the sub. Thank you so much for subscribing to the YouTube. Yeah, Necron are pure spite. It feels like the Emperor, like, if he was a better dad, there was probably a good chance that, like, a little bit less would happen. I mean, it still seems a little fucked. I haven't seen anything of the orcs yet, but from what I do know, they seem like they're just in it for the love of the game, and you know what? I can't hate them for that. Yeah, the get off my lawn vibe. They do have the get off my lawn vibe. The Mechanicus... They're definitely the nerds that live in the basement. I'm gonna be so real. They're like the nerds who kind of got a little too into, like... They got too into, like, secondhand PC building. With the Skaven. Isn't that from Warhammer Fantasy, though? All I know about the Skaven is they have something called the Far Squeaker, and it's a phone. And I'm like, you know what? I love that for them. Love the orcs so much. They do seem like they're in it for the love of the game, and you know what? I'm kind of there for it. I'm there for it. Serious horror are very, very goofy. It seems like 9 times out of 10 they're more goofy than horror. Probably half the Trader Primarchs wouldn't have even turned out if the Emperor had been better. It's literally if Dad didn't go out for like milk and cigarettes, we'd have a much more unified humanity. Necrons are also petty as hell. Almost safe scumming a trial. He was in another Necron, one of the books. Okay, I kind of love that though. Look, spite and pettiness are like one of the best motivators, so I do see how they'd have like one of the best motivations. Primarch's mother didn't throw them in the portal. It'd be a hell of a lot better to humanity too. Oh, he's heir to their mom? Let's give it a peek, but yeah, they're fantasy only. And AOS settings. I'm guessing that's Age of Strife? Now, I guess I do have a question. Do Warhammer Fantasy and Warhammer 40k take place in the same universe? Or are these like... We kept the name Warhammer for the vibes and the recognition, but like... These are very much like, hey, we cut them in half, these are separate things. Like, these are separate things. We push one this way. Age of Sigmar. Ah, gotcha. They're separate. Okay. Fantasy version of the Emperor. Yesn't. I hate that. I hate that answer. I hate that answer. I hate that answer. But they share the same chaos gods. I love that. That doesn't make things confusing. Maybe, but probably not. They did kind of one point, but not anymore. This is like when League rewrites their lore every 2 years. Same hell exists in both. Oh my god, I'm like trying to think through it. I do love the fact how they protect themselves from like interdimensional space demons is by having one really eepy person dream such a lucid dream that's so real that it negates unreal with real. And they sleep oh so eepy, but if they wake up from their eepy, then they're kind of boned. Some of the greater demons, I guess that makes sense. Look, factions are temporary, demons are forever. But yeah, no, that's the one thing I will say. So I am definitely interested in learning more, so I definitely want to do part 2 of that video, probably within the next few days. If not sooner, definitely on Tuesday. Definitely on Tuesday, probably around the same time. I was running into some issues with OBS, so... AOS is the fantasy version, 40k sci-fi. That makes more sense. But yeah, I will say, though, all the factions so far seem pretty sick. I will say the Eldar seem the least bad, in a way. Existed both, but most of them died in 40k. They seem the least... Like, they caused the biggest problem, but they're at least trying to fix it. Not the Drakari, but, like, the Eldar. It doesn't, like, obviously, like, there's no good guys, but it kind of seems like there's, like, the least bad guys. Like, the least bad definitely seem like the Votann and the Eldar. And then the main problem with humanity is, like, it's zealotry, but zealotry is kind of what's keeping it alive, so, like... It's... Technically the good guys. Is it the Tau? Is it the Tau? I don't know much about them. All I know is, like... I like a lot of their the look of their tech from what I've seen of their models. As close to good guys as you can get. So the Harlequins somewhat... Interesting. I thought the Harlequins are, like... I could see it. So, like, what if we keep partying? That does seem pretty apt. But yeah, I'm definitely going to go over the next vid, probably on Tuesday. Also, I'm going to try to get this out as a vid over the next day or two. Tower not good. No one's good. All I know is, like, the Tower, like, I believe the youngest faction? Like, here's the problem. I know, like, piecemeal of little things, but none of it helps me. To be vanilla good, they added some darkness to them over the decades since they came out. I mean, you gotta add a little bit of moral gray to get a little bit more intrigue. I see it, I get it. Anyway, I'm going to swap over to another react. Now, there is one thing that I've been meaning to react to for a little bit. That I've been meaning to do for a little bit. Do I change the stream title, or do I just... I should probably change the stream title real quick. Youngest race with Chun's technically the newest faction on tabletop. Oh. Yeah! Look, well, first I should probably drop that in the Discord. Which, gamers, you should totally check out the Discord if you like what you saw so far. We're actually going to be streaming on Twitch after this. So here's the plan for tonight. I'm going to be watching the Pokemon Presents. I've kept myself away from socials. I've seen like a screenshot of like the starters for like a split second. I've seen like one frame of the starters. I know like next to nothing. So I want to go into this very, very, very blind. And then afterwards, we'll be ending stream here. And we'll be going over to my Twitch, which if you do not know, my name is Scout. I'm your local cyber succubus. I'm a music producer and variety streamer. If you check out the rest of the vids on my channel, the vids on my channel are actually music that I've made. But if you want to catch me playing some Resident Evil Requiem, as well as maybe some Marathon as well, feel free to check out my Twitch right over here. Or if you want to check out the Discord, this is my Discord right here. Just make sure to read the rules on the way on in. Yeah. Oh, I think that's not... Now it's hyperlink. There we go. Anyway, let me just let the community know, and then we're going to get ready in just a second. Here we go. What I'm probably going to do is I'm going to probably get some dinner right after this. I'm going to swap right on over. There we go. Sent that. I actually do have a backup thing. Let me see. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here, though. I really do appreciate it. And if you liked the stream, please feel free to drop a like. Let's more people know of the cool stuff that we're doing over here. There we go. I got the new thumbnail. There we go. There we go. Yeah, shame you can only like a stream once. Right! Anyway. Now that I have everything changed on over, let's swap it on over. There we go. I've seen next to nothing. I've really been keeping myself away. Okay. There we go. Gonna throw myself over. Yo, what's up, Exiled Shadow? Hello, 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 gamer. Okay. I gotta make a guess. Obviously, we're gonna learn about Gen 10. That I kind of knew already. We're gonna learn a little bit about Gen 10. That's gonna be cool and all. What else could we learn about? Yeah, I am live. I've been live. I'm guessing Gen 10. I'm guessing we're not going to be getting a Pokemon Conquest remake. The other thing that I'm guessing is not going to happen is probably no Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. Much to my chagrin. Subbed on the YouTube. Yo, thank you so much, Lucid Librarian. Thank you, Lucid. I'm hazarding a guess, but I'm sad. I'm sad if there's not going to be a... Look, I just know that I really need Pokemon Mystery Dungeon to come back. Anyway, you know what? I'm not going to have any expectations. I'm going to throw myself in the corner and let's get started. Let me just throw myself in the corner. There we go. Okay, Game Freak, show me your best. Oh wait, I heard about this, right? They released Fire Red and Leaf Green. Wait, no, this is Red and Blue. How's the volume, everybody? This is actually a little loud on my end. There's Gen 8. God, there's so many games!
Hello everyone, I'm Ishihara from the Pokemon Company. Today, February 27th,
Hello,
is
Gimar.
Pokemon Day.
Little loud, yeah.
This is the date the Pokemon Red and Pokemon Green games were first released in Japan, marking the beginning of the Pokemon series.
Is that better?
In those first two titles, 151 Pokemon made their appearance.
I still have the
Now,
Scholastic Book Fair
a total of
version.
1,025 Pokemon have been discovered. And these diverse Pokemon have been part of the
I still have the
stories
Scholastic Book
trainers
Fair version of the
worldwide
Pokedex
have been
book.
able to experience. This year marks the Pokemon series' 30th, a milestone reached because of your support. Thank you, each
Sounds
and
good.
every one of you.
Yay!
We hope you will all enjoy seeing
Oh, it's like the
how
little
Pokemon
felt. Oh, I
continues
remember
to
that
evolve.
one. God, I remember.
In
I'm not
today's
gonna lie. I feel like the
broadcast,
summer Pokemon Go was the
we'll
closest
share
we ever
all
got to
the
World
latest
Peace.
news about Pokemon. Please enjoy the presentation.
I really do feel like the closest we got to World Peace was the summer Pokemon Go. Okay. Okay, we got red and green. Or red and blue, I should say. I still have my copy of yellow. Oh! Wait, is that a tiny Game Boy? What is this? Oh! What is that? Oh, that's cute!
I'm Junichi Masuda, and I handled the music and
It's
sound
like
effects
nostalgia,
for
but it's
Pokemon Red version
cute!
and Pokemon Blue version video games. You can now play all 45 songs from the games on the small player inspired by the Game Boy
I kind of
system.
want that.
We took particular care to make the audio sound just like Game Boy, so I hope you enjoy listening while swapping out cartridges.
This music player, I still love that though. It's cute. Look at that cute little
Hello,
fucker. I
Pokemon
see you.
trainers, and happy Pokemon Day. I'm Chris Brown from the Pokemon Company International.
Yeah,
and
what's
I'm
up,
thrilled
Chris?
To share news about the 2026 Pokemon World Championships, which will be taking place alongside our new fan experience. Pokemon
So,
X
like,
in
we're
San
all
Francisco.
rooting for Wolfie, right?
The 2026 Pokemon World Championships will once again.
So we're all
welcome
rooting for
nearly
Wolfie, right? We're
3,000
all waiting for the
competitors
Wolfie vid.
all over the world. Competitors in the video game championships will battle for the first time in Pokemon Champions.
We're all waiting for the champ, right?
Battle in the Pokemon trading card game, Pokemon Go, and Pokemon Unite. Each of the final matches of these games will be held at the Chase Center, an arena that's 3 times
World
the
champ
size
difference,
as
right?
last year's finals.
We
Years
love
ago,
Wolfie.
we started on a mission to create the most exciting Pokemon event for our competitors and their families. As the World Championships evolved, we saw an opportunity to expand even further and deliver a one-of-a-kind experience where trainers around the world can come together in celebrating their fandom. As we celebrate 30 years of Pokemon,
Ooh, I would
we
love to take a
invite
picture
all
next to
of
one of
you to
those.
the inaugural Pokemon XP event. Fans of all ages can expect fun activities, including interactive exhibits, pin trading.
Oh, those are so
cosplay
cute.
showcases,
Oh,
unique
okay, that was a
panels,
fantastic,
hands-on
James.
workshops, exciting partner collaborations, and of course, visiting the Pokemon Center pop-up store.
Stupid thing here, yeah.
To
I mean,
celebrate this
hey,
new experience,
bro knows how to make
today,
content.
We're giving you a first look at a truly special piece
It's one
of
trick
art
content, but it's
illustrating
fantastic.
Pokemon XP alongside the highly anticipated World Championships.
Oh, I love the little astronaut
Whether
Pikachu.
you're joining us
Ah!
in person in San Francisco or from home on our live stream.
Wait, that's
we
right after my
can't wait
birthday.
to
I
see
could
you this
go.
August. Thank you, Pokemon.
Oh, I would love to
trainers.
go. It's just close enough that I might be able to. We'll see. Okay. I'm guessing it's a trading card game online? Yo, I can't wait to see cardboard. That's gonna be too expensive. Oh, there's the card. We're too much money. God, the e-reader cards. You don't go? Maybe. It's one trick pony, we can do a 15 foot pole jump, true. I will say though, the tag team card was really cute with Pikachu and oh? Oh, Puppy! I love Mew. I love Mew so much. During 30 years, I can't wait to see more expensive plastic that people just like stock. That will never have any stock because people just immediately buy them up. Yippee, my favorite.
A huge range of Pokemon that have appeared in Pokemon Go so far will return. And there's a 2-day Pokemon Go tour event starting tomorrow.
Ooh.
We also have
I
a
wish
promo
I
code to
still play
share.
Pokemon Go. Cardboard, my favorite. Yummy. Oh, little favorite. Yo, Pokemon Master Sex! Yay! Oh, I love how they did the shader on that really, really well. That's cool.
Let your curiosity shine! Like a twinkling star!
Oh yeah, the MC that looks like they're like 8. God, that game is 6.5 years old.
Pokemon Masters EX.
That pause had to be so purposeful. Pokemon Masters EX, because if there's no pause, Pokemon Master Sex. I will never let them live that down. When that was trending on Twitter, I will never let them live that down when the game was out, and that was the funniest thing ever. Look, Pokemon Masters EX. I'm just saying. I was a little shit, a little bit. Oh, wait, is this the Pokemon Cafe? The art style's so cute. Pause to save thousands of dollars, yeah. Ah, they're so cute! Okay, the art style for this is absolutely delectable. I want to eat the art style for this. I want to eat the art style for this. It's so cute. Pokemon Eepee. Oh, Mew. The pregnant pause, yeah. The art style for this is also adorable. few missions. Yo, it's Ash's girlfriend, Latias.
To celebrate Pokemon Day, Zapdos, Moltres, and Articuno will be joining the fray.
Oh, chat. My unbridled rage towards Pokemon Unite. Oh, my unbridled rage.
The magnificent power of the 3 legendary bird Pokemon comes together.
Wait, how does that work with...
battle?
But we have to fight for them?
You can participate in the event to unlock their Unite licenses. And even
made
more
it worse.
Pokemon are scheduled to be added. Don't miss what's coming.
Pokemon Unite is the biggest salt fest I have ever... It is the only game I've ever actively thrown a controller twice. Oh, the art's so precious. Somebody's getting off to that art. Somebody's getting off to that art, and I'm pretty sure they're in chat. Look at that, like... Look at that mischievous grin. I need to see what else this artist has drawn, because I can guarantee it's less than say so. Anyway. Oh, he just died? Wait, really? Got me. He did! Agreed, right. Smug aura, yeah. Look, they are definitely the bedroom eyes aura. It's literally the Vixen saying, "Follow me." Ooh, is this gonna be XD Gear of Darkness? I need to play this again. This was the first game I owned for GameCube. Music in this is so goated. Oh, this game was so good! Oh, Mirror B, oh my god, you can't show that much just sexual energy just right. Oh my god. Bro knows he's got it. The music is so good.
Hello everyone, I'm Utsunomiya.
Bro is rocking his grays gracefully.
I'd like to give you all
Shadow
some
Legion
additional
mainstream
updates
game,
as
same
we share
gamer.
the latest news on our games. First off, we have information regarding the Pokemon Fire Red version.
Yeah,
and
those
Pokemon
released like
Leaf
yesterday,
Green version
right?
Games
That
coming
was
to Nintendo
that was
Switch.
told early though.
The Pokemon Fire Red and Pokemon Leaf Green games, remakes of the Pokemon Red and Pokemon Green games in Japan, were released on Game Boy Advance in
Do they have a
2004.
transfer thing like they did with the
Today,
3DS games?
These games have been made available to play once more as download exclusive titles on Nintendo Switch.
Please
and
tell me there's
Nintendo
some sort of
Switch
transfer capability. There has to be.
2. We also plan to make these titles compatible with Pokemon Home.
Okay,
in the
good.
future. This way, you can bring Pokemon obtained in other Pokemon RPG series titles on adventures.
Good. They need to do that.
Or you can send Pokemon to visit Pokemon Champions.
I still feel
We hope you
it's
look
weird that
forward
they did Fire Red, not like Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald, or at least Emerald.
Next, we have some news about Pokemon Champions.
I think we have no updates about it, right? Pokemon Champions. So this is the game that a lot of people have been looking at. I need to... Oh god, it's the one on phone. This is the one that a lot of people have their eyes on.
You wanna be the best, just a champ, move with chest, beat the rest. Oh yes, he a champ, she a champ, they a champ, we champ, stay shine right.
So Megas are a thing. So Megas are a thing, okay. Pokemon's response to Showdown. I did know that. from the mixes, the gimmicks. Okay, so we have Megas. I'm just waiting to see something Terastallize or use a Z move. Or use a gem from Gen 5. Who remembers that mechanic? That's pretty soon, actually. So is it just Megas, or is it also Terastallization and Terastallization, Z moves, and
next up is news about the
Gigantamax?
Mega Dimension DLC for the Pokemon Legends ZA game, the newest title in the Pokemon series. Please take a look at this video.
Okay, so some ZA stuff. I need to go back to ZA. ZA was a good game. Also, the Fashioner was insane. Yeah, that would be interesting if they're splitting it apart. ZA's music was also fantastic. I need to finish ZA. I thoroughly enjoyed what I played, though. Oh. Oh, I think this is from the DLC that I haven't played yet. I need to go back and see my future ex-husband, Corbo. Makiarna! Ah! Absol! My boy! There's Lucaria Z, who's just turned into Miku. Oh, that's just normal. Oh, wait, that is a new Mega Garchomp. Oh, okay. Yes, sir. Ah, I love edgy Absol Z. My little gamer. There's the one I'm familiar with. The one that just actively makes its stats worse. I wonder if Mega Garchomp Z is better than normal Mega Garchomp, which was just kind of bad.
A new Mega
It's a trash
evolution
Mega,
of Garchomp,
yeah.
Mega Garchomp Z, has been discovered. This mystery gift will become available for the Pokemon Legends ZA Mega Dimension
Speed
DLC
Focus? That is pretty
after
cool,
this
though.
presentation concludes. After claiming this gift, you'll be able to detect a special hyperspace distortion where you can encounter Mega Garchomp Z. You can obtain a Garchompite Z stone by winning a
After
battle
accepting
against
mystery
Mega
gift?
Garchomp Z
Ugh.
in the special pocket
Use
of
a
hyperspace.
special attack boost.
Next up, we have some news about Pokemon
Oh,
Pokopia.
Pokopia. So I will say the Ditto from Pokopia absolutely terrifies me. Unironically, it's kind of horrifying, but like, I'm still possibly willing to give the game a try if it has any longevity. Okay. Oh, that musicking. Oh, it's Rotom! Oh, the LG music. Stereo Rotom. Okay, this is my favorite Rotom.
Is that curious-looking stereo of Rotom? Did it get enticed
I love
by the
them.
music and hop inside? It's really energetic and seems to go by DJ Rotom. What happens if you give it a CD in the game?
Oh, it has music from... Oh.
It can help liven up the town with a variety of music. Ditto and the others are grooving to the beat.
I will say, though, I love the
Let's
Professor.
listen to DJ Rotom's specially selected tracks while I introduce you to the world of Pokemon Pokopia.
Oh.
Ditto first encounters Professor Tangrowth in a wasteland that was once a town.
It's the arms for me. It's
Seems like Ditto is working
even
alongside
Ditto's
other
arms
Pokemon to
that
develop
freak the hell out of
town.
me.
Wow, they're sure fired up. Of course, you can't give your all on an empty stomach.
It's things like that.
Like
Riolu
it's wants something to eat too.
Yo, what's up, little gamer?
But how do you cook?
Oh, they have cooking ASMR noises.
Huh? That's Silhouette.
Oh, it's a Greedent. Okay, I kind of like him with the pot. Greedent? I hate that Pokemon normally, but that's look.
Sounds like everyone calls it
The
Chef
pot
Dente.
is kind of cute.
Chef Dente can teach you how to cook all sorts of dishes. Each Pokemon has different foods they prefer. Some dishes will even power up your
we eat the
moves
pan.
when you eat them. This will make it even easier to develop the town.
I don't know what it is. It's just that the human Ditto's movements
Try bringing Pokemon
horrify
you've
me.
befriended on an outing. In multiplayer mode, you can visit other players' towns.
He's telling how
You
the
can
cooking
play with
utensils.
up to
I saw
3
that. It
other
was
people.
cute.
First, let's play some hide and seek. I wonder where everyone's hiding. Ah, there you are. There's someone here, too.
This is so
But
Animal Crossing
where's
coded,
the
but I do
last
kind of
one?
love it. Oh my god, they have prop hunts!
Whoa!
Oh,
You
that makes so much
transform into
sense.
Objects too.
The
That was
multiplayer is
a
absolutely gonna
fun
sell this
game of
game.
Hide and seek.
They literally added prop hunt to Pokemon Animal Crossing.
By working together, you could even build something this big.
Oh, I do kind of love that. I'm contemplating buying this. I'm contemplating it. I'm not 100% sold yet.
Together, you can develop a town. Or go
Oh.
on far-off adventures. New
What-
encounters
what, the
may
Minecraft
await
Nether?
you as well.
I still feel like the end game for this should be like you have to make a house to appease God,
bigger
like
and bigger.
Arceus.
Developing a town one step at a time. Pokemon Pokopia. Available
I'm really
on March
hoping that the
5th.
end game is just like making a house for God that makes him comfy enough to like not destroy the world. That's what I can hope. Oh, that's cute. More Draco Spiders too. Yeah, I can see that.
Pokemon Pokopia releases next week on Thursday, March 5th. We hope you enjoy working with Pokemon to develop a town from the ground up.
The music is very charming
Today,
though.
we covered all of the information you see here.
They did go through a lot of. I will say they gave like no time
We'd
for
like
the
to
new
end
game
our
though.
presentation today with one final video for you all.
This is the new stuff.
Thank you
Pokemon
for
Mystery
tuning in.
Dungeon Explorers. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. We're never getting that. We're never gonna get that. Making peace with it. Making peace with it. Yes, it has a game share. Ooh. Yeah, it's a little electric breath. Mother, you know what? Never mind. Is it? I don't know. Wait, I see Pokeblocks. Huh? Oh, it's going through all the regions. Oh, that's Unova. Okay. There's a Lola. Oh, little Raichu. There's Galar. And here's a new one. Oh, a little guy. Oh, they made him really fluffy. Oh, it's an ocean theme. Oh my god, that Pikachu on the right is so cute! Oh, that Pikachu on the right is so cute! Oh! This is immediately giving me flashbacks to Nintendo's, like, Nintendo had that era on the GameCube where everything was a beach, and I am there for it. Ah, trophies! You can have, oh, the trainer models are cute in this. Vacation with Mom and Dad Pikachu, yeah. Oh, wow, the water. Oh, this is gorgeous. Is it gonna be active battles or is it gonna be turn-based? Oh yeah, no, the orchestral's gorgeous. This reminds me so much of the beachy exploration games of the GameCube era. I love this! Look, I am a sucker for beaches. The starters! Is that dog a Pomeranian? Oh my god, it's our Pom! Brout. Ah, Pombot! And Gekwa. Gekwa continuing the tradition of the water type being very, very, very queer coded. Ooh, tiny boat. Okay, winds and waves. Oh, that's a cool naming convention. I will say though, the water looks gorgeous. Oh, it's not till next year. Interesting. We're not getting it till next year? What? That means we're probably not getting it till November. Like, we're probably not getting it for like 18 months. Hi, Wolfie. We were just talking about you. But wait. First off, I just want to say, Mom and Dad Pikachu here are everything. I want to see this running on the Switch. It's going to be running on the Switch too. I will say, the Mom Pikachu is so cute. I need a plushie of her now. Now, here's the real question. Is this going to be like our equivalent of the parents in the game, like where they're like our caretakers and they just kind of follow us around? Or do we get a hot mom like every prior Pokemon game? Since some of the differences are, I'm going to be completely based off whatever the box legend is. An Auntie Chew. Ah, I love that. But like, are we going to get a hot mom like every prior Pokemon game? I'm just waiting for us to get the hot mom. You know what's happening. Meme of the reveal. Oh, I bet. I will say, though, I love beachy aesthetics. Looks like a baddie. She is! I love her. I love this coral reef beachy aesthetic so much. The water looks delicious. I know it's saltwater. But I miss games that take place on an island. Wind Waker, Mario Sunshine, Pokemon Ruby, Sapphire, and Emerald had that kind of tropical theme to it. This is harkening back to that, and I love it. Dive is coming back. It better. Yo, but like, what if we get like Neo Team Aqua? I don't want a new team. I want Team Aqua to come back. I want Neo Team Aqua. It's probably not going to happen, but like, give us Neo Team Aqua. I'm saying this would be the time. For random encounters, that means the water's going to be fun. I know, like, if this music's anything to go by, they don't normally put the orchestral music in the actual games, but I'm hoping. Since Australia has its own beaches and corals, that makes sense. Oh, wait. This is so like Isle Delfino coded. Oh, I'm excited. Pokemon Infinity fan game. I do like the much more sporty kind of aesthetic for the trainers. Very jungle. Very jungly. Good lighting so far, although obviously this is not in-game footage. Okay, I believe that is, but... Yeah, giant water park. I love that aesthetic. Logo character. Oh, that's cute. Oh, I will say, I really do like the fits. Southeast Asia, I can definitely see that. Oh my god, no thoughts, head empty. Just happy to see you. I love it. Like, I think I have to go with the palm. It depends on what they evolve into, but like, Pombon's so cute. Although I do like geckos. Oh. Yeah, it looks so dumb! I love them! They look so stupid, like in the best way. I could see that. Very Angry Birds, I could see it being an Angry Birds, yeah. That's so cool. A missile. I could see it being a fur missile. Oh, that's... I love that thought. I love that thought. I love that thought. I love that so much. I'm excited. Yeah, gamers, I did say that there was like no Pokemon spoilers until I saw it. Well, I've seen it, so let the memes commence. I will say, though, do you think there's a reason why they didn't show any other NPCs? I think I know why we didn't see any other NPCs. Because if there was any hot NPC, it would be less than 20 minutes until there was very spicy art of them. So I'm assuming they didn't show any of the NPCs outside of like the Pokemon Center people for like a split second. Missiles from Ghost Trick. Oh. I can still see it being a fur missile though. I know for a fact though, like they probably showed very little of the NPCs. We'll probably get an NPC trailer eventually. Now here's the real question. Are we going to be getting you've seen the art of the pro tag? But the pro tag 20 minutes, that's awfully generous. That is fair. That is fair. Of the gecko. I can see the gecko getting spicy art, I will say. Survival mechanics and base building. Ooh. Now here's the real question. What kind of Pokemon League are we going to get? I need to know what kind of Pokemon League we're going to get. Like, are we getting a league? Are we getting, like, Island Kahunas, like in Gen 7? It is also really interesting how many times Pokemon has kind of gone with the kind of beachy, islandy aesthetics. This is actually the third time? I guess hits with the simplify button. A little bit. You're not wrong. But no, I'm excited. I'm excited. I can't wait to see more. Back to the D&D Bay Beach, yeah. 375. Oh my goodness! No. The Philippines. I could see it being the Philippines. But yeah. No, I'm excited. Yeah, look, hey, hear me out. Watery Ocean, so I'm excited. Not sure what the box legends for the waves will be. Look, whatever it is, I'm excited. That being said, there's no way that we're not going to have like events for like, say, like Lugia or like Kyogre, right? Right. I feel like there's going to be some way to catch like Tornadus, Thundurus, things like that. Indonesia and a bit of Australia. I could see that. Toby. I could see that. I could see a lot of people naming theirs like Temmie or something. I will say also, everybody. Next game will be set in Caleb, Pokemon Rotten Decay. No. By the way, everybody, fun fact about me, if you're new here, if you are a new person to me, Scout, hi, hey, how are ya? I actually do make Pokemon trainer style tracks, and I really do need to make more of them and release them soon. I actually have a few that are in the works. Love to show them out sometime soon. But yo, feel free to check out some of my existing works over on the YouTube page. Would love it if you checked out some of my music. And yo, a lot of it's actually completely free to download. Plushie Pombon. There will be a life-size one, and everyone will, like, it'll instantly be $150 because everyone will scalp the hell out of it. But you know what? We can still hope that we'll be able to get one. Yeah, this was a lot of fun. Thank you so much, everybody who showed up to YouTube. I'm still trying to get my feet under me when it comes to YouTube stuff. I've been dual streaming to YouTube for a long time and occasionally releasing music here. But outside of that, like, I haven't really been taking YouTube seriously till today, and that changes today. I was supposed to stream over here like most of this week, but I've been having a lot of fun today. I've been kind of like scared to do this stream for a while. I've been kind of scared to do this stream for a while because it's like it's so out of my comfort zone. I'm not used to being a React Andy. So I'm hoping that we can, I'm hoping much more to come. Streaming OSRS and the Lovely Song. I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Swordmaster. But yeah, if you are new here, hello. Sup, my name is Scout. I'm your local cyber succubus. I'm a music producer and variety streamer. I play a lot of games primarily a lot from Nintendo. A lot of Zelda, a lot of Pokemon, a lot of Risk Marine, a lot of Monster Hunter, and lately a lot of Souls games and RuneScape. So if that's your vibe, I hope you stick on around. My goal is to stream every single day, at least on some platform. Monday, Wednesday, Friday, Saturday on Twitch. At least Tuesdays on YouTube. We're trying to figure out the YouTube schedule. And then Sundays and Thursdays on a slightly spicier platform. You can learn more about that in the Discord. But yeah, we'd love to have you. I'll be going live on my Twitch very shortly. I'm going to go grab some food first. I need to consume noms first. But we're going to be playing some Resi 9, and we also have a lot of scary sound alerts up and ready, so definitely feel free to scare the ever-loving shit out of me. Right on over there. If you like the vibes and you want to check out the community, feel free to check me on out right over here. There we go. Yeah! I need to fix your name to match. No, I get you, gamer. But yeah, thank you so much, everybody, for being here. We had a lot of fun learning about the 40K franchise from Bricky. There's going to be more of that to come. Bricky-sensei will teach me well on the ins and outs of the foremost grimdark universe. And I hope to have more to say soon. Anyway, gamers, I'm going to hop on out here. And we're going to go hop over to Twitch here in just a little bit. So I'm going to go probably use the restroom, grab some food, redouble myself, maybe do some vocal stretches, and we'll be right back to it in, give me like an hour. Anyway, gamers, later, everyone. If you're going to bed, sleep well, dream even better. I hope to see you next time, if you're staying awake, which I hope you will. I'm scared for my friggin' life, because, RE9 looks scurry. So, wish me luck, and I'll see y'all soon. Later, gamers. Bye-bye. And 3, 2, 1, and